big up, big up, big up. Welcome, my friends, family, and brothers and sisters. We are going to be doing a episode where, we're going to get out some of the visceral feelings, maybe in a mature way, though, in a very mature way, hopefully. And we're going to also deal with more important things, which is more important, because we can all gripe about, oh, well, the problem is this, the problem is that, the problem's this, the problem's that. We're going to talk about some solutions, maybe even look at something we can focus on that might be a little bit of something that we can put our hats on and kind of, maybe rebalance the approach, because it's getting ugly out there. Oh man, a lot of my fellow content creator channels are dealing with a lot of fallout from this recent loss to Crystal Palace, but certainly by some of the comments that have been taken on by our coach. But there are some things that I think that are important to recognize and respectfully understand, and make something of it. We've got a good panel today. We might have some others joining us. JK and Smokey, the dog. Smokey the dog is in the background, but they're chilling for right now. And we also have Baz with us. Baz has been taking a little break from the chaos, but he's blessed us by rejoining the cipher here, and hopefully we can get some good answers and get some good thoughts, good perspectives, and some proper discourse. So, Baz, how are you doing today?
Yeah, big up 12, big up JK, big up the people in the chat. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
For sure. JK, Smokey, you guys there? Just making sure. See if they at least give him an introduction. He might be able to say hello, might not. I don't know. Yeah, I guess he's still handling his dogs. But yeah, a lot of stuff's going on, man. A lot of stuff's going on. I had today wanted to kind of like ease into the conversation a little bit more. I wanted to kind of ease into getting into what the elephant in the room, surely, which is, the whole now slot in, slot out talk and all the other stuff. But I also wanted to change it a little bit up real quick and just kind of converse about some stuff that we have going on. If, for instance, this is just my perspective. If, for instance, Premier League is slowly but surely slipping out of our reach, let's say. I'm not saying it's over, people, but I am saying it is certainly becoming a more difficult uphill battle to retain our title. But it's not over. It's only October, by the way. If we are now certainly only going to be resorted to having the FA Cup to play for, because now we've got knocked out of the League Cup, and a cup that is very, very personal to some of us, and now that is out of the reach. FA Cup, we'll see what kind of attention, if our coach brings the same concept of attention that he did last year, because very much so last year. When we played, was it Plymouth, I believe, right? Was it Plymouth?
Yeah, FA Cup.
FA Cup, yeah, when we played Plymouth. He brought out a lineup exactly like this one, where there was no senior players, I think, other than maybe Curtis Jones on the bench. I'd have to recheck that. I'm just going off of memory. So if that's the case, there is something still that we can possibly concentrate on. Now, I know that some people might not even look at it as this might be out of their reach too, for some. But I wanted to get into this Champions League thing, because let's be honest, this format that we have, this is the league phase format, the era of the league phase. There's 36 teams, and you have to earn your way straight into the round of 16. Right now, Liverpool are on we're on 6 points, right? Or is it 9? 6 or 9 points? 6 points from 3 matches. That puts us in the upper third of the table. We're like at 10th place in the table, around 10th or something like that. When you stack it against the elites, who are all sitting on 9 points or 7 out of 9 points. We're behind the usual suspects: Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, PSG, Arsenal. They haven't slipped up yet. But here's the math no one wants to say out loud. To skip the February knockout playoff and go straight into the round of the 16, the projection has to be 16 points. We need to get 16 points. We're on 6, so we need 10 more from the 5 final fixtures. Real Madrid, perfect so far. It's going to be tough 3 points. We have PSV at home this time. We have a little bit of we know that PSV did a measure on us last time, but that was with a well, rotated squad that we brought. Our coach, once again, unfortunately, not thinking that the points matter. Because if we had beaten PSV would have ended up knocking then the placement for PSG would have been different, and we possibly would not have seen PSG in the run-up that we had. But all the same, again, you play every game to win, in my opinion. We have Inter as well. We have Inter flying high, 9 out of 9 points. That one's away. We've had our fortune in Italy hasn't always been the greatest, but Inter, again, it is what it is. Marseille. Now, horrible place to go when you're not in rhythm. Marseille away is not going to be an easy game. Marseille is currently, I think, first place in France. They're playing well. They're organized, and it's a tough environment to go into. And then we have Karabakh at home. That one you absolutely can't drop, obviously. You can't overlook it. You have to keep it into your sights. So it's not a friendly run. It's not Copenhagen, maybe Union Bruges or Union and Club Bruges or something like that. It's a grown-up European schedule. This is why dropping the Galatasaray game hurt. You don't leave yourself needing to beat Madrid and Inter when you could have handled business early. The Frankfurt 5-1 was huge, not because it was pretty, but because it kept automatic qualification alive and also gave us a little breathing room with our goal differential. But now we have a case where we need to focus on, obviously, this Villa game. And then we have the Real Madrid game right after that. There's some prettier points I wanted to talk about from that Frankfurt game. I wanted to reflect back because that's one of the few bright points we've had in the last couple of weeks has been.
Yeah. Let's focus on something good, isn't it, mate? Come on.
There you go. Big up.
We're Liverpool fans. We support the team through thick and thin, and this is thin at the moment, isn't it? So we got to support them.
Absolutely. Well, there were some things that occurred. For instance, like there are some things that occurred in that Galatasaray, or excuse me, that Frankfurt game that were pretty exceptional. In the middle of all that, we had one of the best individual midfield performances we've had in years from Curtis Jones. 127 passes attempted, 122 completed. That's 96%. That's the most we've ever recorded for a Liverpool player in a UCL match. That's like easy settings on FIFA, like that's some FIFA numbers. And it wasn't crab football. It was tempo. It was him getting involved, him getting progressive passes, because a lot of those passes were in the final third too. So now the question is, do we lean into Europe this season while the Premier League looks like a wrestling league? Or do we try to fix everything all at once and end up fixing possibly nothing?
For me, he is trying to fix the league. That's why he played the team he did against Palace. He's trying to fix it, and he wants to get to the Villa match with some, rested players: Virgil, Ibu, Bradley, Mama, all of them basically. Because hopefully Ryan will be coming back in, and I'm hoping that Mac comes back in alongside him. It's a tough one for Sobbo because Sobbo's playing so well. It's hard to leave him out. So I will probably maybe include him against Villa over Wirtz or play Wirtz in a different position maybe. But Sobbo, it's hard to drop the guy, isn't it? He got a splendid goal against Villa, didn't he? At home, in his first season. Remember, he started off really well in his first season, and he got, I think it was a left-footed volley from around the edge of the area, wasn't it? He bagged Sobbo. So, we can do it. We can definitely. Look, Villa will be a severe test. Emery's always a severe test. If Emery's side's playing well, then, they're awkward to play, which is what you'd expect. You don't expect easy games, do you?
No. No, you don't. You really don't. I don't expect an easy game from... You never expect an easy game from Emery. I mean, he's a very talented coach, and it's going to be a dogfight. Despite the fact that it's Anfield. I mean, it was difficult. It was certainly difficult to see the crowd lead the way it did towards the end. We spoke about some of the songs that they were singing at the end of that game. I guess if you don't laugh, you're just going to get mad or even cry. So, I mean, I don't know if you heard Baz or not, but they were singing a song. One of the songs was, "Is There a Fire Drill?"
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that.
Because there's so many people leaving for their exits. I saw some of my friends that do go to the match or that are, go to Anfield for the games. And it was difficult. It was difficult to see. It was very difficult to see. But all the same, as much as I want to see as an improved, obviously we've rested our players and we're ready for this Villa game coming up on the weekend. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's 3 days. And then we're back at it at home against Real Madrid. So it's okay. I just saw your comment, Bass. So it is a case where, we definitely have to worry about Villa. We definitely want to get this Villa win. Okay. I'm not saying that we don't want to try and get some rhythm, some form, some fitness for everyone in this game. But I'm going to ask you this question, panel. Is the Premier League game more important? Or is the game against Villa more important? Or is the Real Madrid game more important?
I'd have to go with the Villa one.
Okay.
Because we could still qualify even with a draw against Madrid. I'll have to go for the Villa one. We need to get our league form sorted, don't we? And hopefully everything else will follow then. The cup form will follow. And obviously the FA Cup doesn't start till January. We'll have had a window and hopefully we'll have struck goals for the centre-back. So, I'll go for the Villa one. I'd say that one is... the next game's always the most important, but this is so important, this Villa game, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. How about for you, Baz?
They're all important.
They're all important. They're all important. All the same.
Yeah.
Yes, I get that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
The way that we approach this League Cup game, I would say that too. But I was told that the League Cup game's not important, so that's why I'm asking.
I get that. No, as far as I'm concerned, when you start in the summer, everything you enter for is important. Charity Shield, that's the curtain raiser. It's a glorified friendly, whatever you want to say. You get a trophy at the end of it. Obviously, the FA Cup, same thing. Champions League, same thing. Premier League, same thing. We're in it to win it. So you can only, what Lee said was right. The next game is the most important. Then you worry about that other game after that. That's important. So as far as I'm concerned, they're both important. Everything that's happened previously, including Crystal Palace yesterday, that's gone now. That's in the history books now. We need to focus on Aston Villa, and this team needs to win again. So that game is important. Then we can worry about other games afterwards.
Okay. JK, are you with us, or are you still working out stuff? You there? Oh, no, he's still working on some stuff. Okay. All right. I would love to hear what people in the chat think too, though. Because this game is, I mean, getting 3 points against, I know getting a draw isn't the end of the world. We could still qualify technically. I know some people might even say, "Oh, well, look what getting top 8 got us. It ended up just getting us, a matchup with PSG, basically, in essence, a game against PSG, and us getting knocked out." I get that. There's always going to be the chance that there's going to be some teams that are going through, the struggle of form at the moment, and we'll be looking to capitalize off of making a late run. But still the same. I think 3 points against Real Madrid is important. I think that is very, very important. And it takes a little bit of the pressure. It would, because I think that, again, let me repeat that schedule for you real quick. Looking at this schedule, we have, again, Real Madrid at home, PSV at home, but then we have 2 away games. We have our Inter and Marseille. The Inter and the Marseille games are going to be just as difficult to win as a Real Madrid game at home, if not even more so.
Do you know what, 12? They're all important. You know what I said? They were all important in it, but you need to be able to win them. And what I mean by that is, I'm not gonna go crazy on basically what's been going on and stuff like that, and the struggles that we've had. But every single game, obviously, is important. Isn't it? The only.
Sorry. Let's all give some thoughts and prayers to Anfield Irishman, who had to deal with a very, very tumultuous panel today. He's the hostess with the mostest, and it is not an easy job that he embarks on sometimes with his open panel, where just about anyone can join. Sometimes those people cannot be hospitable to trying to have some real discourse, by the way. So big up to Anfield Irishman. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. We need to be able to win games. Doesn't matter if it's Marseille, Real Madrid, Trinidad FC, whatever. All right. We need to be able to win it. We need to make sure our players are in the right frame, understand the tactics and all of this kind of stuff. And at the moment, it doesn't seem that there's harmony, or when I mean harmony, but there's issues going on in the club, whether it's players not understanding, whether it's managers, whether everything that's been said right now. Clearly, there's an issue at the club.
Right.
But we need to start winning games. And when you look at it, 12th man, we played Eintracht Frankfurt, and we played really well. That's what the records and the stats would say, and the result would say. But come on, let's not kid ourselves. They weren't a great team. Ibrahim Konate and Van Dijk and these guys who scored goals that night. They are big presence on corners and stuff like that. And they took their goals. They scored. Brilliant. Lovely. But for the fact that Van Dijk is someone that is so dominant in the air, defending, but his record as an attacking force in the box is not that great, if we be real. But the fact that they have We won that. Is that really, did we really play that well, or was that team really bad? It's kind of, for me, it's like paving over the cracks. And I think we need to establish how we played there and how we played there. We need to put this into the next game. And the next game is Aston Villa, who are a team that once beat us by 7 goals. And we were in a better situation than we are now. So that is the most important game, and we need to get back into something, even if it's a draw, because we haven't had a draw yet this season. We've won as many as we've lost. We need to stop conceding goals, and if you stop conceding goals, you do not lose games.
Okay, I agree with that. You definitely don't lose games. I was hoping that we would have utilized Crystal Palace as that game to reestablish, to have some form going into this weekend, but we didn't. All the same, it's a matter of I want to obviously win this game against Villa. I certainly want to win this game against Villa, but I want. I guess it's a matter of, like, do you play players? Do you play players with a full 90, thinking that not keeping in mind that we will be playing in another three days after that? So would you look to possibly try to get a win, obviously, but also be conservative, let's call it?
I don't think we can afford to be that 12th. I think we have to, to beat Villa, we'll have to, play the whole game. We won't be able to take off our best players or any of that. But you're right what you said about the Madrid game. To win that would be such a boost for the team's confidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what sort of form Real Madrid are in or who their players are. You beat Real Madrid, it gives you a massive bump. It gives you a massive boost.
Absolutely has to. You're right about that. Completely agree. Yeah.
I disagree, to be fair.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. We won 5 in a row. We've got the best team in the league.
Right.
But what's happened since then? Since we won our first 5, and then we won against Frankfurt. Yeah, that should have given us a boost. What happened after that? Let's not kid ourselves here. We're in trouble. I know I'm sounding very down and negative and stuff.
Just voice your opinion.
I'm just obviously giving my opinion. And Lee, trust me, mate, I respect you like JK and 12. Obviously, I'm not so confident, and in theory, you guys are correct. But until you see it happen, we have a problem. And the thing is, we can go and play Aston Villa over the weekend, and if we win that, what happens next when we play Real Madrid? We can potentially win, but in order to win, you need to be in harmony. There is no harmony in the squad right now, or in the fan base and stuff like that. And this is more, if anything, like an appeal, really, to stick by or just don't do it. And the boost is important, but you know what? You can't have a boost if you don't have a game plan, and we do not have a game plan. It's as simple as that.
Okay. I'm definitely wondering what the game plan is. I'm a little confused as to what the game plan is. I'll admit that. But
it's because there isn't one. That's the problem. We all want to see that. Do you know what I mean? We had an identity under Klopp. We had an identity, like Arsenal got an identity under Arteta. Same with Pep. We've yet to see. And all right, I can get it. Last year was this guy's first, the manager's first season with Jurgen Klopp players. This season is about this. Let's see what it's about. And so far, he's got his window where he's able to bring in players. We've yet to see the identity of this team.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. I think could you go as far as to say we're yet to create an identity? Maybe that would be a better way to state it, possibly.
Yeah, it's what that's called is transition. That's a transition, basically. I mean, I got fired. I can't remember if it was on Brian's show a little while ago, or was it on your show? And then someone said
the teething comment,
the teething comment, and the chemical thing, and on top of that, the transition. We are in transition, and I was told, like, you can't be in transition if you've won the league. That's right, but we won the league, but we brought in nearly half of a new team in, and that needs transition, because this season you can see we're not firing. So we've yet to we've, like you said, 12, you're right. You know, we probably yet to see what our identity is, but at the moment our identity is we're losing.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Baz. We're struggling to find this, and you 12, you started it off. We're struggling to find an identity a little bit, but you know, we've got a lot of 5 new players settling in, and Vert plays in a very specific position. You know, it's a position that we haven't utilised in a while. That 10, and now we're having to do that and change the way we operate slightly, and it's taking a bit of time. I mean, you can't always expect things to be instant in football. I never do, you know, because I just go by the experience of the past, and things aren't always instant in football. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, and you see it instantly, but not always. Like, it's not a given. The players are just going to come in and hit the ground running.
Do you know what, though, Lee? I mean, like, Wirtz is one of them, yeah? And I agree. I love Wirtz, yeah? And I don't have anything bad to even say about him this season either, even though, like, you know, there's little issues and stuff like that. The only thing is, like, again, I know this is going on to the manager, but 1 minute he's playing in midfield, then he's playing on the left, then he's being dropped or subbed. You know, something's not quite right there, isn't it? With not just Wirtz, but, you know, generally speaking, Ekatika's had a great season so far, but then he's been dropped for Isak.
That could be maybe that. Oh, sorry.
No, go finish.
I was just gonna say back. I agree. This is I made a reference to my calls for concern last year. I know I get stated as being the football romantic, and sometimes having red glasses when it comes to the criticism or the constructive criticism of our team. But last year, I was mindful to point out, it was especially at the marker of that PSG game when we went away, that became the marker of my confusion with this coach's man management. It happened somewhat before that too, because I'd also joined in with some of the calls against Konate that year, in the sense of, well, why do you drop Kwanzaa first game because of a mistake, and then have that player be like the whipping boy, in the sense, you know, of or the fall guy, says a better word, as the player that, you know, is made to be held accountable, but then other players continue to play at sometimes subpar form, and yet they continue to get starts, continue to get quality minutes. It's a question of, like, you know, to me, I just think that sometimes it's the reason why I am more of a Klopp guy than I am a Slot guy, but I'm supporting the coach all the same. I'll make sure I make that notation. But I just think that it comes down to man management, and I think that he's got to improve on his man management. Because
you're not wrong. You're not wrong with that. What you say with the Kwanzaa and Konate thing. Just look at Kirkes, for example. He's literally, you know, Kirkes is one of these new signings that we've had, and he's been absolutely slated by everybody. And yes, you know, some of it is, you know, is down to him. Some of it is down to the manager and stuff like that. But, you know, what you said in terms of his man management, that's very questionable, because this was a young player that is at Leverkusen now, you know, defending very well, playing very well.
Yep.
and then he's brought in someone and he's literally leaving this guy to hang hang out there to dry, and it's concerning.
It has to be. It has to be concerning. I mean, there's no other word for it. Because, yeah, I was calling for Gomez to get more starts than he got last year. I'm calling for Gomez to get starts this year. I was calling for Robbo to be getting starts. I've been saying constantly that Robbo should be the player. Robbo should have been he's given respect of holding down the vice captaincy. That's big up for him to have that honor. But beyond that, I also thought that Robbo should have been given the courtesy to know, or at least the courtesy to be recognized as a player that has the confidence of the fellow players on that back line. Like, as in, I did a segment a couple of days ago, and I was talking, because there was a call out on VVD, and it was certainly something of interest, because VVD called out Kirkez, and like Kirkez, it was like, it might not, it wasn't necessarily all Kirkez's fault necessarily, but Kirkez got the brunt of VVD's anger. And people called it out. They were making the point about, he's a young lad. He's still young. You got to have better leadership and all those other things and such and such. And I'm like, well, guess what? If that's Robbo's grown enough to understand what VVD's saying.
Do you know VVD on what you just said there? Yeah. If anyone's been saying that, yeah, they need to realize and think exactly what Van Dijk is 100% right. Even if he slated him, yeah, that's still acceptable for me. And that's my view personally. Everyone's got their opinions, and I respect everyone's opinions. My view on that situation is quite clear. Van Dijk, yeah, has been babysitting this guy. And I'm not disrespecting Kirkez, yeah, because on his day and in a different system, this guy is a brilliant left back, yeah. He's been told to play a different way, or learning a Liverpool way on the job. He's literally started more games. He hasn't been transitioned into this team and in the way. He's just literally started like that, and he suffered. But you've got to look at the human aspect of a defender and our captain, yeah, his captain that has been impeccable over his seasons, barring his injury. Obviously, couldn't do nothing about that. But he's been babysitting him consistently. He's only human, and this Van Dijk is at a certain age now, yeah, where he cannot be worked hard like this. And when you see when Robertson played in the other day with Van Dijk, yeah, it looked brilliant.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Van Dijk. I don't blame Van Dijk with what he's done. But yes, in this society and the way we are right now, people are going to judge, and when the team's not doing well or players not doing well, opinions are going to go.
That's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Speaking of opinions, well, since we're kind of going into that, because I was trying to show the highlight of Curtis Jones. Try to keep something that was, a positive from the Champions League that we spoke on earlier. It's a player that I'm hopefully will be fully fit and be well rested. I know that he went off in that game, not in the previous game, but the game before that, with a slight groin issue. I don't know if anyone has an update on that or not, but I know that it's not something that it wasn't something that they looked at he was going to be out for weeks or something like that. But it was certainly of a concern enough that he didn't feature in this last game. A player that probably could have and should have and would have probably wanted to be a part of that game, knowing what it means. But all right, let's just. I'm kind of jumping around all the segments because this isn't the main topic. The main topic is kind of like something that hopefully can bring us some solidarity. But I'm going to bring up, since we are talking about, VVD, and we're talking about the unity of this team, or we're talking about, the transition of the players and the likes. And let me bring this back up again. This was Curtis Jones. This was his passing map, basically. The top half is the opponent's third, by the way, or the opponent's half is the top half of that. You can see that was an immensely incredible passing display by our young scouser in the team, Curtis Jones. Big up. It's my guy, Curtis Jones. But I did want to do some quick hits, because this is like, I'll show you what's going on. Like, ever since that Brentford game, and it's got truth. Like, ever since the Brentford game, bring up the screen here. We've seen these kinds of thumbnails. Time to go. Mike Doss, my brother. I do subscribe to your channel, and I don't know if you do the same. I think you do the same for me, I believe, because I know that you have been on the channel before. I'm hoping that you do subscribe and support other Reds and Red content creators especially. We all don't have the same opinions, but the reason why this is doubled up, because apparently my algorithm, when his show was live, here's why Liverpool suck, and then and that was obviously and then the algorithm wanted to make sure that I maybe got my Mike Doss take, or my Mike Doss look, by saying we are going nowhere fast, Liverpool lose again. And now he's doing thumbnails about how Liverpool suck again and again, and then he'll have, like, I think the new one is our young players suck also, something like that. I'm just like, dude, that's just over the top, man. Mike. The other one, this was from Jamie, who's changed his thing, was like the emergency, Arne Slot's Liverpool future, and how to fix their slump. Some of his, I will admit that, like, this one was weird, because I think this episode was weird because I think this was the episode where he showed the AI clip of Jurgen Klopp punching Arne Slot in the face. That's just ridiculous.
Who is this guy?
That's Jamie. It's Jamie Phillips.
Oh, he's changed his name.
Yeah,
he photoshopped the thing of Klopp hitting Slot.
No, there was an AI video. Was on X. I saw it, but like there was an AI video going around where it's Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot, and they're like hanging out together, and then all of a sudden Jurgen Klopp punches him in the face, and Arne Slot is like knocked out by Jurgen Klopp, and I was just like, come on, dude, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. I see you're trying to. That's not even funny. Yeah, the Monts is, it can go a little bit over the top, but it's over. Our title hopes are done. My brother Cal. Cal is one of the real ones. I really do appreciate Cal. I appreciate Kopish. And everyone's welcome to their opinions. But he did go on a rant, and he did drop a rant saying Slot has to go. I was kind of disappointed to see that rant, but again, everyone is welcome to their opinions. This was the Never a Foul. Liverpool are finished. Finished. Football Terrorists and Terry. The reason why these are two is because I follow both his channels, and I enjoy Terry's approach and platforms. It's one of the reasons why Terry's platform is one of the reasons why I did get involved into content creation, and that's primarily because the people that he normally has on, I absolutely, for other than maybe one, maybe two Liverpool representatives that he has on, I just absolutely despise the representation that he brings on his channels for us. They're all chicken littles, or all just sometimes disrespectful Liverpool fans. But Liverpool are broken. by Arsenal. And so let's think about that, about how Goldbridge destroys Slot. Then there's Footy Judge Mo, who has commented back to some of my chat comments about his program. And it's very difficult to go up against Footy Judge Mo, because Footy Judge Mo is an Inter Milan fan. So,
always remember, folks, judge not, lest ye be judged.
There you go.
And if we go on a winning streak, I'll be doing some judging of all these content creators that are shitting on Arne at the moment. I'd like to think that, I'd like to think it's going to turn around. I'm not giving up on the man yet. I mean, he won the Premier League at the first attempt. We've got to give him a little bit of leeway, surely. I mean, if that doesn't buy him a little bit of leeway, then I don't know what the fuck does. Winning the league at the first attempt. I'm not having this shite that, it was Klopp's team and it was Klopp's tactics. Was it fuck Klopp's? Sorry for swearing. Was it hell Klopp's tactics? He had his own. He came in, he put Ryan in the 6, Macher alongside and Sobbo in the 10. He changed it. He changed the way we play. It's a little bit, but it's not as exciting as it was under Jürgen. But, we won. How close did we come under Jürgen? It was very exciting, but we were just that little bit short each time, weren't we?
Right. Do you know what, Lee? The thing is, Lee, the thing, Lee, he spent £400 million this summer. Yeah. That's what he's going to be judged on, unfortunately. I take your points on, and I'm not going to do on Slot, but you need to look at how much was spent last year. And I'm not doing on him, but Gravenberch wasn't a regular whilst Klopp was there, but it wasn't a rocket scientist to include this guy to put him in a 6. And McAllister was playing as a DM before Slot was there. So D is going to be judged, unfortunately, and literally we're in this business now where we're on shows. You're going to have people bantering. You're going to have rivals. They've got the right to. However, they are extreme. Some of these guys are extreme, but you're out there to be shot. You're Premier League champions, and you've bought nearly £400 million worth of players in. Obviously, you've sold important players, and now you're sitting 7th in the league when we could have been 5 points ahead of the top, and now it's gone wrong. Yes, there might be an opportunity for him to turn this around, but at this moment in time, there are serious questions, and I think people do have the right to judge him. Maybe not as harshly, but just let's we got to be realistic, and everyone's got their views, and I can't knock anyone if they're saying Slot out and this is Klopp's team and ratata, or it was Klopp's team last year. At the same time, you can't do on the guy because he has won us a league. But
no, I get that. Oh, the reason why, and again, you have to bring a little more clarity to your comment, Hi Laura. I don't know why I would have to get a babysitter for me, but I'm just bringing up I'm just showing what other content creators in the state of our, especially our Reds community, but even some of the outer rings of the communities that overlap with us. I'm just trying to bring out what they are going through or what they're presenting as the state of our team and what they're inciting or enticing us to join in on. And that's what I mean. They're a slot disaster class. It'll get worse. Unconformed CF is I like his show too, by the way. Hopeless. I mean, these are the thumbnails that we're seeing in and that's the only reason why. Oh, there was one more. Let me bring up that one too.
Do you know that one? That last one, Hopeless, was actually quite accurate, to be fair. Based on that game, it was hopeless. Based on that game.
Well, then, based on Nick, it's over.
Well,
Liverpool are finished.
Hypothetically, yeah, it's not over, but the way we're playing right now, we ain't winning no title. The way we're playing right now, it's not over because mathematically, Arsenal could have issues, Man City could have issues, and we just keep winning our games. 45 minutes or 70th minute, 90-minute winners can win you the title, but is it sustainable and is it realistic? No, it's not. That game, it was hopeless against Brentford. That game, the last game, it was based on a manager's, his decision to have a whole bunch of kids in a cup game. We were never going to win that. Let's be realistic.
This much is true. That the way we're playing now, we won't get anywhere near the title. But that's now, form changes. Form's temporary. They say, I don't think class is permanent, and I just hope that's what it is. If we need to change manager, then we do it. Do you know what I mean? I'll accept it. But right now, I want to give him these next 3 games, without getting at him too much. I'll go with whatever team he picks, whatever team he thinks can get the job done against Villa. And hopefully we'll be changing. And like I said, the league form, better league form will lead to better cup form, won't it? That was interesting what you said before, 12, that we've got Inter and Marseille away. Now, they're 2 very hard games, aren't they?
Very different games, yes. Yep.
We've had 2 games so far, haven't we? 1 loss and one win and 1.
2 wins, 1 loss. We beat AC. We beat Atletico Madrid too.
Yeah, we beat Atletico Madrid, but who else did we beat in the Champions League?
Frankfurt.
I can't lie, Brentford and Crystal Palace.
Forgot that one. Yeah.
What's that?
So
Brentford and Crystal Palace were teams we should have beaten. Do you really think we're gonna, based on how we're playing, we're gonna beat Inter Milan and Marseille?
That's why I'm saying that, getting those points against Real Madrid is that much more important.
This is it, yeah, and that's scary.
If we drop points against Real Madrid and then hope that we're going to go abroad, which is our away form is abysmal, and now it's the sad part about it is that our home form is starting to be abysmal. So I mean, to think that we're going to go to Italy, and then also to France and do, perform at a high level enough to get a W, that's a big question mark. But I mean, we have to do our business at home, and that means beating Real Madrid. That's why I'm emphasizing Real Madrid is a humongous game. That will be it'll be big for the reasons why Lee brought up earlier about how it's a boost to beat Real Madrid in any competition or at any time, I should say. But it's Real Madrid is very, very important 3 points, and we need to get them because it's very important three home points. And
it's only important if you actually win the title in terms of Champions League, because it's just a 3-point game. Who beats the team on the day? And something, I'd rather lose to Real Madrid and lose to everyone, but win the European Cup. But the fact is, I mean, I don't know if any of you guys watched it. I think it was a couple of weeks ago or something like that, where Jurgen Klopp had a chat with Steve Bartlett on the Diary of a CEO. Mm-hmm. But anyway, do you know something? Yeah, I know this might be something different, but it goes back to how I think of things. And how I think of things is, this guy used to talk about, unless you're Ronaldo or Messi, everyone has to defend. Right now, we cannot defend. So you're probably thinking, why have I just brought this up? But this is the problem. We cannot defend. And I just feel against Aston Villa, against Real Madrid, with people like Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, these players who are very intelligent and very smart, Vinicius Jr., it's going to be very difficult. So this manager needs to really be realistic about.
I get that. I get it. No, I'm not disputing that. He's got to be realistic. I was on to do this segment called Quick Hits from different corners of the pitch, meaning we just saw some of the thumbnails. Obviously, I watch all those channels. I watch way too much YouTube. I admit that, but I do watch and listen and contribute to, especially if you're a Reds contributor or content creator. I do my best to support by giving thumbs ups to all the Reds content creators. Hopefully, they do the same. They keep the same energy by doing it themselves. But honestly, I know some of them don't. Anyways, I've heard some creators. You're talking about the Messi. Unless you're Messi, you don't have to play defense. Well, there is a player that is loosely put, before people get all crazy. Loosely put, there is someone that is our version of the Messi of our team, and that is this individual. I've heard people talk about about Mohamed Salah. I've heard about people speak on a lot of different things about the form and his fitness and the likes. I'll tell you something though that is just this is a little personal, and I know that we've had others on the panel, and I'm sure others in the chat that have dealt with loss in their lives. I'm going to speak on this sense. I'm not saying that this is some crutch or this is something that that they are professionals. It's something I need to talk about though, because I've heard a lot of content creators talk about players need to get on with it, or they need to just get into form and get over whatever it is that is causing them not to be able to really have some clarity or some real semblance of clarity for you. And after Jota's passing, it's been very difficult. I think I think that what's very critical, or not only critical, but like a very interesting, is that I know that Jota and McAllister Jota and McAllister, and both Jota and Salah were all best of friends on the team. I get the sentiment, but I'm speaking from a human side. Not everyone heals on the same timetable. McAllister and Salah have both looked emotionally flat in moments. And it's sometimes just weird because it's like your mind is telling you one thing and your body is just not delivering. For some reason, it's just like there's like some chemical imbalance in you that just doesn't get you to that level that you're used to getting to.
12.
And I know I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm not saying it's any of those types of things. I'm just saying that
he shouldn't be playing then.
Close. Yes, go ahead.
He shouldn't be playing then. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. If you're really affected, and listen, okay, because I did have this this conversation with a few people off social media and on social media, and even I think on live shows when I was on before. I was one of them that was thinking, you know what, Mo Salah has been affected by it, and every single one of them has been affected by it. And yeah, you could argue, that he probably got it most, and obviously the, him, tearing up at the cop end and stuff like that. He is affected by it. There's no two ways about it. But something, it's the club and the manager's responsibility to look after the player. If he's not fit, this has to be considered. Fitness is not always a physical thing; it's a mental thing as well. If he's not fit, you do not keep him on. You have a player who has been on form and even won a flipping, this, player of the month, on the bench, ready to play. The first thing as a manager is the club and obviously your players. But if your player is suffering, you put someone else that can do the job until he's ready. It can take a while, so be it. But I'm not having when people are saying that he's affected. Yes, he is affected, of course. But when you look at his opportunities at Chelsea, that is not a player that's not affected by it. It's a player that's just damn right too greedy at this moment in time. He's very selfless at the moment. I don't know if it's because he thinks. I'll finish it off very quick, but this player's only got one more year after this. He's always about records, and good on him, But right now, we need you and the other players to just play a team game, and he is too individual, and this is what his problem is this season.
I get we're just all I'm trying to emphasize is that I'm not saying that he needs to definitely be professional. He needs to figure it out. He needs to do the different things he needs to do. I'm just trying to get across that, I think a lot of what it is confidence. To think that Mohamed Salah has fallen off a cliff for some other reason is, I think, not really putting perspective on it. It's not like he's coming off an injury. It's not like he's dealing with fitness issues, or it's not like he's dealing with other things in his life, in the sense of, he's dealing with the loss of one of his really close friends. And I just know, as someone who has lost someone in my life, there's times when, you're trying to keep your focus completely on being professional, trying to keep it focused. You're trying to keep yourself on what's in front of you. And it just creeps up.
Even lay onto Wirtz. That game against when he was dropped, and it was all big on the social media. I think it was against Frankfurt, wasn't it? Where we were doing all well. Yeah. He, Wirtz is one of those players that is heavily been criticized. Yeah. And, and I don't even blame Wirtz in it. Wirtz has been decent. Just like created a lot of chances, and, for one reason or the other, we ain't finished it. But, right now it's about building chemistry with your players, showing them the love and stuff like that. Yeah. Wirtz, 2 assists in that game, and he had an opportunity that Salah was selfish about, and didn't roll it to Wirtz. He could have got his first goal. Then there could have been a little bit more love in it. Right now, people are just everywhere. Their heads are everywhere right now, including Salah. And, sometimes to help matters, where someone gives you a hug because you just given me my first opportunity to score for Liverpool. I'm going to run up to you. Thank you so much. And then it creates that endorphins, that show of love. After he missed that, everyone was on Salah. He's not helping himself.
I get that. I get it. I mean,
I am harsh. I am very harsh, but I love Salah. But I love the team more than Salah. And I think, yes, opportunities like that, it was all about him from the start. Oh, he's not playing. Oh, he's not playing. Then he's come on. Last year he was scoring and assisting when he couldn't score. He's not scoring right now, so do the next best thing. Assist your fellow colleagues, for God's sake.
I have no issue, and I have said that myself. I said, if you're not going to score, I've always said this, if you're not going to be able to contribute by giving goals, which is what his main job is getting goals. But if you're not going to be able to get the goals, then find a lane that you can contribute. I don't care if you get goals or not, to be honest with you. I'm just looking for contributions, and whether it's the palatable ones like the goals and assists, that's fantastic. But if you can't even provide the goals and assists, then you need to work on being the assist for the assist, or you need to work on giving the extra hustle and the extra dedication towards defense, for instance. Something that you're not necessarily used to playing. But guess what? If the other parts of your game aren't coming into focus, then maybe you can fall back and at least provide contributions in that realm. I am completely on board with what you have to say about that. I'm just trying to get across that, I think I just wanted to, being someone that has had, again, a major loss in my life relatively recently, I know that there are times when I think about that individual or those individuals, to tell you the truth. And it kind of you could be in the middle of your job and it just hits you. And it's just something that is not easy to get through, not easy to do, and can sometimes take you that little tad off of your game. And that's all I'm trying to say. So I know that we're all with him on that front, and I know that we all hope that he continues to find some type of becoming more whole and everything it works out for him. That's all I was trying to get across. Because in that Frankfurt game, for instance, they did an actual, they actually gave a little shout out to Diego. Actually, he was like everywhere they go, you're reminded of him, which is fantastic. But it could also, it can be, I don't want to say a blessing and a curse, but then again, it's a blessing because you want to honor the name, you want to honor the memory. but it's also like you are reminded that your friend is no longer there with you. I will give credit to Frankfurt for doing that too, by the way. I thought I had the actual exact details as to what they did. Because basically what they did was they put up when they had the substitutions, or they had him in the lineup, and then they also had him as like when they showed the substitutions, he was a part of the substitution. I can show you what they did actually. They showed it like this. They had his name up on the board for substitutes. It's tough, man. This is tough. That's all I'm trying to get across.
No, you're right. You're not wrong in what you're saying and what you're doing, and how you're presenting it all. It's right. But you know what it is. I think right now it's the fact that we're not doing too well. There's issues with our main player, the guy who's been brilliant for us over the years, and because of the tragedy as well, it's gonna be here. If we're winning all our games so far, no one's going to say anything in it. I take what you're saying on for real.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I understand that if you're winning, no one's going to be like, no one's going to really talk about it. But I mean, like every 20th minute, we're hearing this song. People are doing that. It's getting me a little choked up even talking about it, to tell you the truth, because like I definitely miss his presence on this team. I think he was a team leader. I think he was he had the ability to be a unifier on this team, and also he brought like comedy. He brought like it's just so many things that he brought that are no longer present without him being a part of it. So that's all I'm just saying. And it kind of makes your day easier when you can sit and have a cup of coffee or espresso with your mate like that. This is something. I'll move on because I don't want to get too wrapped up in pushing that angle. There was another angle though I did hear people kind of going off about, and it was something that was it was something I just talked about earlier. Baz talked about a little bit too, and that was about Virgil van Dijk. I saw people on other channels questioning Van Dijk's captaincy, his ability to lead, and if he even is a real leader. I'm sorry, but I think that's like I think that people that question the way that Virgil van Dijk is leading. I wish we had Brian on the channel right now for this one to maybe back me up. I think he might back me up with some of this, because I know that he's a big fan of this player, despite the fact that he is a Red Devil, and that's like going back to the 90s and people questioning Roy Keane's Keane's leadership. He would be the first to be in someone's face, the first to be yelling at someone. I mean, it didn't matter who you were. If you were Ronaldo, if you were I don't know, Gary Neville, it did not matter. He was in your face and expecting the best from you.
Yeah.
And Van Dijk is still the emotional center of the squad. Don't get it twisted. If anything, he's trying hard to drag people over the line. And at times, I think that's the reason why I've been pressing about Robbo getting the start. Robbo is conditioned to take it. Robbo is conditioned to understand what the bar is. Robbo is conditioned to understand what the criticism is going to be, and Robbo is going to sometimes bark back. And that's why I've been very, very vocal about Robbo needs to start, and I've been very vocal about the fact that I can understand why at times you see Virgil very upset, and I just think that I don't agree with those that are voicing their concerns about his captaincy. I don't know if anyone has want to bring up an issue about that or want to comment on that before I move on to the next point.
No, his captaincy is not up for debate. Who else is going to captain the side? You know what I mean? Who's stepping in his stead? Ditto with Arne. Like, we're not that sure about a replacement for Arne at the moment. Like, so, Same sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah, like you said, he's trying to drag people over the line, Virgil, and he's not, even with all his talent, he's not able to do that currently because one player can never do that. Yeah, he has looked human at times, hasn't he? Which is strange for Virgil, like superhuman being, isn't he? Or he has been since he's been with us. But yeah, I think things are tough for everybody now, aren't they? All the players are struggling a bit, and only playing and getting better results will change that. We're not finished. We might be finished as far as the others are concerned for the title race. You know, the thumbnails that he showed us, the content creators, but we're not finished as a club. Far from it.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Yeah,
with Van Dijk, yeah. Let's just paint this picture. This guy's come in from Southampton, 75 million quid. Everyone questioned him, barring one season where he was where someone brutally assaulted him. Yeah, he was out for a year. This guy's been impeccable over the years. All right, towards the ending, there's been once in a blue moon little mishaps, and that's a human. You know, humans make mistakes. He's human, yeah. But the thing is, you've got to look at what he's done today. And again, I go back to the transitions of bringing in players in. He looked absolutely impeccable. And he has always been impeccable when he has somebody that knows their job. He knows his job. If you go into stats and stuff like that, I'm not really a stat person, but he normally gives you a near perfect game. Every now and then, his worst could probably be a 7. And some cases, you know, of recent times, it's been as far as 4, 5, or whatever. But that's not down to him. He's a guy that is at his later stages of his life. He's been impeccable over the years. He's now practically having to babysit a player who is learning on the job in Kirkes, yeah? And he's doing a lot more running, okay, which he shouldn't have to be doing at this time now. And this is where, you know, he has the right to be telling these people, because he's the captain, like you said, 12th man, Roy Keane, Steven Gerrards of this world, they all had to tell these guys, yo, get yourself into thing. Yeah, you need to perform a bit better. It's his role as a captain. But at the same time,
drop Henderson into that list too. Henderson, very vocal.
Exactly, and he has to look after himself as well. And he's going to listen. If I was playing in his position and one of my players are not playing well or they've got issues, I'm going to try to back him. But you know, I'm a human at the end of the day. I'm going to say he needs to play better. He's giving more trouble for me, or he's letting the team down. He needs to, you know, whichever way. He's young, Kirkes, but you know something? You're learning from the best, you know, the best centre-back of recent generations. You are playing the same side as him. Of course, he's going to be in your ear all the time, and you've got to perform. And if you can't perform, then you're not good enough for the club. So VVD, good on him. You know what I mean? And he did need to do that. And as far as I'm concerned, once we establish or create a balance or where players start to play well, no one's going to talk about Van Dijk again.
Let's just rock and roll with this last not last segment, but let's just rock and roll and get this out of the way. And that is, let's talk about the game because there were some comments made by our coach. And I'm going to be like, we got to talk about the Palace game tactically because there's a narrative flying around that we tried something new. And Slot himself said people shouldn't read too much into it. I actually do think we should read into it. We went to a kind of a 3 at the back, maybe sometimes a 5-4-1 shape with Endo dropping in alongside Robbo and Joe. For a little stretch, we looked solid, certainly at times, but then you know, the dam broke, and then all of a sudden, Sarr scores twice before halftime. Second half, Palace are the ones in control. We get a red card. Pino at the third. I don't know if that's development football. That's more of like a first team getting handled. unfortunately. And here's the one thing: we don't even. I think that's why it's just this. Let me explain this little part too, real quick. Slot's comments in the Palace presser were this is that I'll give you the exact comments, but I'm going to say the paraphrase portion of it at least, and because I don't like what he had to say, to be honest with you. He said he says that the Carabao Cup is a youth game, first off, and when you use more seniors versus Southampton, which is the game before that, right? We had the game against Southampton, and we used starters. There are legitimate starters in that lineup that we're starting. That's inconsistent. You can't say that. Then comparing us to City, when City actually did bring first team talent, not only on the pitch starting, but also on the bench, along with, you can say Arsenal, for instance, they made a lot of different changes themselves, but they also had Saka on the bench. They also had like some hitters on the bench ready to go in case things had to be taken care of.
And they did. He came on and scored, didn't he, Saka?
Yeah. And they're also taking on, like your cities are taking on a Swansea City. They're not taking on a Premier League squad of Crystal Palace, which has been in phenomenal form as of since last year. Have been in phenomenal form still. If you're going to rotate, stand on it. Don't gaslight us. That's what we're trying to get off on. Is that because we don't even teach wing backs in our academy. So you brought out the team. So you ask kids to suddenly become wing backs. Basically, you had wingers that were making debuts, and it's like Morrison making his debut, for instance. Rio, not making his debut, but starting on the left side, and then you have Chiesa. Big up to Chiesa, the absolute workhorse in the middle. Trying to make it all like tie together, and it's like if you don't regularly play that way against a senior drilled Premier League side, that's not going to help. What is that? You're setting up a team to fail, in my opinion. That's like a stress test for our team and putting the youth academy players as the test subjects. Slot said this, and I'm going to give you the exact quote because we're going to get into a feel-good moment in a second. I don't think people should read too much into it. We've defended with 5 before in certain games. Ryan Gravenberg has inverted like that before. Okay, but then he said this. With only 15 to 16 players available, it felt to me that this was the right decision, and I haven't changed my opinion after the result. That's the part that rubbed me. Wrong in that, because saying this, he said we could beat Palace, but we could beat Palace with our starters anyway. We couldn't, beat Palace with our starters anyway. That's what he said. We've had issues and problems with Palace already this year, so it doesn't matter if we started youth academy players. Our own starters couldn't beat them. That's not the tone Liverpool fans expect. It's not the tone I want to hear. We're Liverpool. We find a way. Even if you're going to put kids into the lineup, we find a way. And the other big thing, like I said, senior players on the bench. That to me was the most disrespectful part. People pay hard money to go to that game, and that is, and if you're going to treat it like a glorified exhibition, that is so disrespectful.
You know what? It's absolute negligence. I'm so glad. You know what? Like I said, I'm so glad I didn't get to hear anything that Slot had to say about yesterday's game, because you're disrespecting that trophy, like the Carabao people, energy drinks people, like. They're disrespecting. I swear Cody Gakpo and these players, played last year in a Carabao Cup. So he needs to have some damn respect for a trophy. Probably a realistic trophy that you're going to maybe win this year because your team are that crap at the moment. Yeah. And sorry, I'm saying it in a very harsh way, but this is where I start to get a bit excited. You know what I mean about this shit. Yeah? What he did, okay, no one has a problem with it because there is a problem to a degree. The problem was, like you said, and like what everyone was saying, okay, you bring on some youngsters, you still have some of your major hitters on the bench. There was not one of them. I was happy to see Ingamoa play, Rio play yesterday because he deserved it, The goalkeeper for me did really well as well. And Ramsey, for someone that I didn't even know still was at Liverpool, done very well, Everyone else, they were out their depth, and it's not disrespect to them. They're just not on the same level as maybe Jurgen Klopp's academy players that he had, the Tyler Mortons of this world, the Kumas.
Because we got rid of those players.
Jaden Dans of this world.
We got rid of those players.
Can I jump in Arnie's defence about the Carabao? Is that we haven't got the centre backs, we haven't got the reserve centre backs. We only have one, and we need him. I mean, it was a bit of a gamble playing him last against Palace. I mean, you have to do it. You have to do it.
Okay. All right. So how do you explain?
Wait. Let me.
Leone injury and not he has really screwed us.
Screwed us immensely.
To go for 4 trophies, to go for this fucking.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say the word. The word begins with Q.
Yeah.
Go for this. We're just not equipped. I think we're crying out for a DM now as well to help shield the defence. That's nothing against Ryan. Ryan's been good, but he could do with some help, I think.
Can I tell you this though? I just want to interject something real quick to what you said, and I can understand exactly what you're meaning by the center backs. I'll let Baz chime in 1 second. I was just going to say, what I can understand all of what you said. However, from my perspective, this is only my view. Okay, it's only my view. If you're going to hold the fact that we don't have center halves, right? Fantastic. But we don't have a plethora of left backs either. And in this game, you chose to put in Kirkes and both Robbo. Now, if you're going to play one or the other, fantastic. But you chose to put both our left backs into this game. And if anything, I know it tells me who's going to start the next game, to be honest, against Villa. And I'm happy to think that my perception might be right in the fact that Robbo got subbed and Kirkes played 90 minutes.
No, I don't think you're right there, Tom. I hope you're right. I know what you're thinking.
But no, he did play. No, Kirkes did play 90 minutes. He played 40.
No, I know that. But just because he played 90 minutes doesn't necessarily mean he won't play in the next.
There's no guarantee. There's absolutely no guarantee. But what I am saying is that maybe that's the coach thinking that let me save some of the legs on Robbo for this weekend. That's at least my perspective. That's okay. That's my own perspective.
Right. Okay. Now,
what I wanted to land on, and then you can jump in, Baz, is I didn't agree with if you're going to start Gomez, fantastic. If you're going to start anyone, put Endo in as that other center half, which he in essence did. Mm-hmm. But then if you're going to go for the left back, either choose to start Robbo or start Kirkes. Pick one of the two, because we're going to need definitely a left back that has legs against Villa on the weekend.
So how about this? All right, we're talking about left back things, and I'll take what you were saying. Yeah, I'm sorry, Slot gets not 1 ounce of defending in this game at all, whatsoever. Yeah, and the reason being, is because we've got players. We brought in a whole bunch of players this season. Okay, people talking they needs time to gel. This player needs to play here. This one is not yet ready. The chemistry, blah blah blah. Yeah, not one of them was playing yesterday. Yeah, these players that have come in. Okay, these new players, apart from a goalkeeper. Yeah, now this team needs to gel, and the only way you gel is by playing these players. He didn't play none of these players. They were there eating fish and chips. Yeah, sitting on the bench, or just behind Slot, laughing, enjoying like it's such a great thing, barring one player who was just constantly shaking his head, and that was Szoboszlai, because he's the only one that's put balls in this season, Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. At the end of the day, right, this guy gets not one bit of sympathy for me, yeah, and I'm even more outraged with his rubbish that he's coming out with, okay, because that is not Liverpool standard, yeah. You need to hold, you need to walk tail between your legs, all right, and just take what you're getting right now. Now, in terms of the selection now, yeah, you play your players because you ain't winning no Premier League based like that, yeah. You ain't winning no Champions League, you ain't winning no FA Cup. You know what? This cup favors us over the years, yeah? And he should have put a stronger starting lineup, yeah, to give these players the opportunity to gel. And yes, take them out every now and then, like sub a player once, you've won the game or something like that. And if you ain't going to do that yet and you don't want to risk injuring your players, yeah, then what you do is you start bringing players off the bench later on. He brought kids on, for fuck's sake. I'm so sorry I'm swore there, yeah, but he brought on kids to win a game. To win a game, all right, that against a team that he's played twice beforehand, yeah, and lost each and every one of them. He is, you know what, this right now, what he's done now is put extra stress on the players that are going to play on the weekend, because all eyes are going to be on Liverpool. And they're not playing well at the moment, all these A starters. So now they've lost in the cup now. They're out the cup. So now all eyes are going to be on the players that are misfiring over the weekend. And if they lose that now, what happens then? It's a big problem. Huge problem. And it's unforgivable for that. Chiesa at striker. Chiesa up front. You know one.
I thought, you know what, I not to interrupt you. I was to a finish point. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Okay. Yeah. So you see, the thing is, Chiesa, okay, and Ingemar played really well yesterday. You know what? In fact, you'd probably like this 12th. Yeah. He reminded me a bit of Luis Diaz.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You know what I mean? He's got the ball. He can carry it. Yeah. And he had no one up front for all his hard work here against big mans. Yeah. He had nothing up front for him. Chiesa was dropping in to try to help. Bless him. Yeah. But he's not forward, and he keeps insisting on playing this guy up front. Chiesa's better on the right or on the left, and it was abysmal.
There were times, I know that Hylar just asked if we played a 5-4-1. There were times in that game yesterday when it would be Chiesa was receiving like a long ball or something like that, right? And you would look up and there was 6-7 Palace players back, and no one on either side of him. No one on either side of him. He was up front by himself. Look, Rio did. They did occasionally push up and provide with trying to become more of a wingers for him. But for the most part, it was a 5-4-1 for the most part. And you speak of Chiesa. I think, if anything, where the coach possibly, again, this is all just my opinion. You know, I'm not a coach. I don't have my coaching badges if someone's going to call that out. But I think that maybe if I was going to go into trying to put a lineup yesterday, and I didn't want to necessarily have Ekitike or this or that on the bench or playing, fine. You're going to have Chiesa starting up top. Cool. I would have also had Salah starting up top with him. I would have put Salah in a more central role. Maybe try to see if he can get something generated where we're getting him some real deliveries, and him and Chiesa with their quickness, possibly put a little bit more emphasis on that back line. You can still utilize Morrison and Rio as wings, or if you want, in a sense, but again, I would have went with like a 4-4-2 or 4-2. My 4-4-2, please. But if not, I would have went with a 4-2-2, the same format that we went with the Frankfurt game, and utilize Salah in the middle to get him some type of fitness and some type of form. Because I don't know if everyone is with me or not, but there's not. I don't think it's a harmonious shout that is looking to see Salah start against Villa. And if that's the case, then I don't want him to have to try to find his form in that game. I'd rather him to have to go out there and lead and be a leader and press us in front. But that's, I guess, we're talking about what is spilled grapes or whatever, something like that.
Spilt
Do you know
milk.
something? Do you know something? Kone came on for Ingamoa yesterday, yeah, and we were probably 2-0 down at the time, or maybe 3-3. I can't remember.
Mhm.
But we had no attacking threat. No attacking threat. And how many shots did we have on? In the second half? And this guy took probably someone that was a bit, the one that did, in fact, for me, create. Got tired towards the end. Yeah, got tired towards the end because they were marking him up and stuff like that. Yeah, he was the only one that made more of an effort. It was likely something could have happened from him. But then they took him off and brought Kone in. And I'm not disrespecting Kone because I think he's a brilliant youngster, yeah. But how are you going to take off Kone for that? You kind of need to have some kind of attacking presence up there. He didn't do that. He did exactly what you said and what he said he was going to do. It's just a competition for kids. Now, I tell you what, your kids now are not going to play because they've been knocked out. So there wasn't no balance and no help for the kids. Now, the only thing is they'll have to probably pay kids for the FA Cup. And if we get knocked out of that, these kids are not going to play again this season. So he's crap, yeah, about kids. It's a kids thing, yeah. That's rubbish. He could have played half kids, half this, or, give them an opportunity to win and progress and got into a quarter-final. We could have got into a quarter-final. Give these kids a real opportunity. What he did, he put them all up there to hang. Shame on him.
Yeah, I can't. I agree with that. Go ahead, Lee. Say what you want to say. I don't know. I think JK is with us, but I'm not certain.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's Jay.
Yeah, big up, Jay.
Bless up, bro.
Go ahead. You guys, give us your thoughts.
No, I was just saying there was a cat downstairs in my apartment block that was missing, bro. It was missing. The guy downstairs was at work and stuff, and he came back, couldn't find his cat. I was like, bro, I got the cat, man. The cat must have left the yard when he left it, man. He was so happy, the guy, I found the cat, bro.
Oh, nice
Nope,
one.
he was helping
It's horrible when your cat goes missing.
Beautiful cat as well, bro.
That's a whole different. That's a pause right there. But anyway,
well, mine's gone now.
That's the sign we're going to be Plea.
Little grey in the sky. My cat, he died through old age. But I remember, I think what it is with cats sometimes, they're very nosy and they can get locked in sheds. If a shed door's open and they go in for a nose and then it gets locked or something like that.
It's true, bro. It was mad, man. How the cat just came towards me and that. It was weird, man, and I was so happy it's the neighbor's cat, man. I didn't know the neighbor had the cat, so that's why he's so happy, man. A good day.
Well,
good. I'm glad he found it. I'm glad he found it. I'm not going to say it.
He's an Inter Milan fan, by the way, bro. The guy.
Oh, well, no, that's a different story.
And we play them as well.
Yeah. Have fun with that one when we play them. Let me get to this main topic of the show. This is kind of like what I've wanted to focus on the most about the show. And I have some questions for the panel, and then I want to get your insight in the chat if you believe what I believe is the case. It's something that I wrote this piece a while back, I wrote this piece. I already told the guys about this backstage, but I'm going to tell you a real interesting take on where and what we have, the state of the league, the state of our team, everything, the state of football. How about that? Because the Premier League's ugly turn and why Liverpool struggles might be the catalyst is my title for this little op-ed. And it's like, this is the big conversation I wanted to get into, because the Premier League right now is not the product they sell us. And what I mean by that is they sell us best league in the world. Heavy metal football, elite pressing, tiki-taka. Anyone can beat anyone. What we actually have is a league obsessed with throw-ins, set pieces, low blocks, time off the ball, and marginal gains. Ball and play time is down. We've seen it go down considerably every year, more so now to the point where the league is discussing to make a rule to bring a throw-in clock, basically, because of how much time is wasted. Out of the 90 minutes that you see on that clock, about 45 of it is not on the pitch. Open play goals are harder to create. Mid-table teams don't even pretend to build to try to build towards scoring goals that way anymore. They show up with a long throw specialist, 3 center backs, 2 monsters at the back post, and a rehearsed corner routine. And it's working. And this is exactly where Liverpool's problem lives, if you do ask my humble opinion. Arne Slot is trying to play football in a league that is trying to play disruption. We want rhythm. The league wants chaos. We want possession chains. The league wants second balls. We want Sabasli and Verts combining. The league wants Brentford's long throw-ins and towels on the sideline.
We need to adapt either way. I know you carry on, but we still need to adapt even with all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get that. So every week, we look at Liverpool and we go, why do we look good in Europe but not in the Prem? Because Europe still wants to win. You have to do that. You still have to play in Europe. In the Prem, in our league, you just got to grind out results. You just got to grind out results. The Premier League wants to deny you that. And that's the difference. Our squad is built for footballers who need oxygen. Verts, Dom, McAllister, even Salah, Frimpong, Bradley, whoever you want to bring into the conversation. They are expressive players. You don't buy Verts to head away 17 throw-ins. But right now, the Premier League is rewarding anti-football efficiency. And we've seen this movie. PSG had a season just like this. Looked clunky, manager still implementing ideas, opponents sitting on them. Then it clicked. And once it clicked, they started slicing through people without changing who they were. This is why I think that the Champions League needs to be our primary focus. Not saying that we give up on the league by any means. But I am saying that we've got to figure out a way to get the form set and ready so that when we click, we are ready to go in the Champions League. That's why Real Madrid to me is very important points. I want to be able to get some points either against Inter or obviously in Marseille and get in hopefully in the top 8, but at least get into the knockout stage. Because if we aren't in the top 8, we're going to have to play more football. We're going to have to play that knockout round, the playoff round, to get into the round with the top 8. So with that said, I can't stress enough that the way that football has developed, the way that we've seen football develop in the Premier League is definitely anti-football. And I get that you're going to have people say, oh, well, it's a part of the game. And I understand that. Throw-ins, corner kicks, all part of the game. It's just, unfortunately, it's the ugly sister as opposed to the beautiful game that we're used to. And if you're cool with it, I can understand it. I can get it. I've been saying the same where I think Baz is going to say, which is we've got to adapt. We've got to get more into the long throw-ins. Joey's one of our best long throw-in players on the team, but he doesn't play too often. But all the same, he is. He's got a good long throw-in on him. We've seen some success from corners as of late. I'd like to see more as well, considering our ability to take on aerial duels. I'm just emphasizing that I think that Europe is more suited because I don't believe that this team has been structured to play and really fight in the Premier League. We're not structured. We're set to play football, and they're set to take on set pieces. And the contrast is, yes, you have to understand both aspects, or it's great to know both aspects, but it's just that there's so many teams nowadays that are playing the latter, which is low blocks, just hunkering down, hoping that they can get a counter, 1 or 2 counters, and hope for a miracle, or even just get a long throw in and hope for some chaos. Get a corner and hope for some chaos. And why I'm making this emphasis of why the league is at this stage is because the team that unfortunately is probably favored to win is the king of what I'm talking about. There is a stat. Oh man, let me make sure. And there is an absolute incredible graphic. Hopefully I have it.
Isn't it a shame that the Premier League's been brought down to this, to set pieces, just as we bring in these quality, skillful players such as Florian Wirtz? Everything's sort of hinging on set pieces. Oh, that one they scored against Newcastle, the winning against Newcastle, really pissed me off. That was early in the season. Remember that he was quite close to the goal, he in front of him. Just not.
Yeah.
But it's part of the game. You can bitch and moan about it, but it's part of the game, very much so.
Yeah, no, I get that. And that's what people are going to hear, and that's what people are going to automatically attest. Oh, you're just complaining. You're just bitching and moaning.
You have to put it in the context of where Arsenal are where Mikel Arteta personally is coming from, because he's missed out 3 times now, quite fairly narrowly. It wasn't that narrow last season, but they were in the conversation for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But he's identified a way in which they could possibly get the better of us over the course of a season, and if that's the way it plays out, it will be a bit of a shame. But we've got to adapt, like Baz was saying about adapting. It's we've got to adapt to this, haven't we? We've got to get our shit together on set pieces, long balls, all that.
They can see all of this as well. That's the thing. Like, we're talking about, we watch 11 players and obviously subs come on. We see a manager, but behind the scenes, there are people with graphics. There are people with cameras. There are people that go into other games watching them before we play them, scouts, etc. Yeah. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I might be very old and very traditional. Yeah. But you know what? The beginning of a season, when your window opens, you are supposed to bring in the the absolute, your equipment, to actually do something about it. And we brought in very shiny toys. We brought in flair players. We brought in players that that are supposed to unlock midfielders. We lost creativity in Trent. We brought in Wirtz for creativity and passing and stuff like that. But they knew all of this. That's the craziest thing. They know all of this, all right. And if you didn't bring in the equipment, or you couldn't afford the equipment, you need to defend them. Those you need to look at a throw-in nowadays. It's just like evolution. Like throw-ins now as good as corners. What do we do when we get a corner? We get our big guys there to come and defend it. You need to be doing the same bloody thing. And it's not like we've got.
But that bloody Newcastle game where they kept having long throws, towards the end before we got our winner, when they were trying to beat us with long throws. That was they were equipped to this. And
we had in one of those games, in the Brentford game, I'm sure we had Konate and Van Dijk there. One of the 2 big centre backs that are normally good in the air. All right, fine. We've got issues in right back, left back. But something, we've had issues at right back for many years in terms of defending, but going forward, that right back was good. We were talking about. But the fact is, we still have our core. What has happened in between? What is the problem? Why are we not able to defend no more? And it's because we simply ain't been training well enough or properly to defend corners and throw-ins and stuff like that. And I know we're not really bringing Klopp into this here, right? But do you think we can see goals like that with Klopp? No.
This is what. So if you're going to look at it I'll give you a stat here. We have faced the most long balls against our team than any other team in the league. Exceptionally, in 9 games, we faced 571 long balls attempts. The league has figured out that they're going to sit back, wait for the second ball, and as soon as they get connected on the second ball, it's get on your horse. We're going to send the long ball down the lane.
So he knows this. That's what I'm saying. He knows this. So do
Absolutely.
something about it.
Absolutely. Do something about it. However, I was going to say this, and this is why I was saying the state of the league is this way. These are the numbers. This says it all. And I know Lee's seen this graphic before. This says it all. Arsenal are 4th in scoring with 16 goals. It sounds phenomenal. But that's because they've gotten, it's excluding penalties too, by the way, 9 set-piece goals. They've had 5 open play goals. That's 17th in the league. When it comes to their open play XG, they're 8th in the league. When it comes to their percentage goals from open play, they're last in the league. When it comes to percentage of XG from open play, they're 19th in the league. And this is the team that is currently sitting atop the league. I'm trying to emphasize the fact and point that this is the state of the Premier League.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But, again, this is the thing, innit? Every season, we've got 38 games in a season to put things right. All right,
Absolutely.
we can say we've had 10 games, or we're coming up to 10 games. That's like, maybe a third of the league already done, yeah? Now, go and flip and defend them better, adapt to that situation and do transitions then. Have, better tactics. Win the second ball when you get a throw-in or a corner or a free kick. Go and defend it well, and then go for the second ball and make sure you got outlets on the wings that could go and do a transition. A bit like what Forest used to do. Let them have the ball. Last year, Forest said, you know what? Have the ball. We don't care. We know what we do. We'll hit you on a counter. Bam, 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 go. Do that then, because we're equipped with it. But we can't do that.
No, you can't. I don't know if the real issue is, I mean, do you think that we're getting actually worse, or is the league just getting uglier and more set piece obsessed, and we didn't match that evolution?
It's a business 12th. That's the thing, innit? You do whatever it costs to win. Winning is winning, whether it's like half of what Vin Diesel's saying, an inch or a mile, a win's a win. And that's just as simple as that. No one complains or will say anything, oh, we lost by a point or we won by a point. You know what? We won the league. That's the end of it. Last year, people... Yeah, go on.
Last year? No, I was going to ask, should Liverpool temporarily lean into that ugly side? More set-piece focus, more long throw,
yes.
All that?
To win the league, 100%.
Yeah, if it'll help us.
If that means then, because that's what will happen is that will be you abandoning the transition or the evolution of you transitioning to slot ball. That's not slot ball at all. What we're talking about is not even remotely close to what Slot has envisioned in his football.
What's a slot ball, by the way?
We haven't seen what he's got planned yet, have we? We know that when Wirtz and Isaac have settled in, which they will eventually, they're very good players, they're not going to not settle in. I don't think they will settle in. And then when they're fit and firing and scoring goals, and we're getting goals from Hugo as well, then maybe we'd be able to play against a team that's all set pieces and maybe even concede a goal, but still win. Or concede 2, but still win. But we don't want to be conceding. I said to you, 12, you asked me what did I want before the Brentford game, and I said for us to give up less chances. We're giving away far too many chances, and it's never good in football. Even when you're a brilliant team, with tiki-taka or whatever the bloody hell it is, like passing teams to death, death by 1,000 cuts. Even then, you've got to defend. Remember Guardiola said, when he first come in, he'd come up against us like in the first season, and he said, I've changed my plans because of Liverpool. He said I had to. He said I couldn't stay the same and go toe-to-toe with them. I had to change the way we did things, or they would just eat you for breakfast.
Yeah, I get that, but at the very same, I mean, it's an ugly place. It's an ugly place for football, and it's an ugly place for us as football fans, and also as Reds fans, to see the fact that either we we kind of play this ugly form of football.
We did it last year, though, 12th. We done it last year. We were ugly last year. We didn't play really well at all. In maybe 1 or 2 games, we played really well. But you know what? We were ugly. But you know something? At the end, when we were holding that trophy and everyone was in Liverpool, celebrating it, no one cared we were 45-minute FC or, lastminute.com or scoring late goals and stuff like that. No one cared. The fact is, we won that trophy. We didn't care. This year, we could probably not even score any goal from out of play, yeah, and just get free kicks, penalties, and win the league like that, yeah. No one's going to complain. Yes, I get what you're saying. It's sad, and that's how things are. But that's just the way it evolves now. This thing with false, false number 9 and inverted fullbacks and stuff like that. Yeah, this might be a Pep thing, or it might be a, not a British thing. Yeah, might be overseas. But you know something? It helps you win, and winning is winning irrespective of how you play. People are going to say Liverpool are pass and move. We're very nice when we attack. People want to see that. Of course we all do. But you know something? No one's going to complain when you really got to dig deep and play your Bournemouths or your Brentfords or whoever. And no disrespect to those teams that just play long ball or just let you have the ball and just hit you on counter attacks.
So when we go up against Burnley, you're saying we should just basically convert to we're just trying to get long balls and corner kicks.
Well, we have to adapt
as opposed to trying to just play our game.
We have to adapt, 12. That's the thing, bro.
I'm just
we have to adapt.
Yeah.
And no, I know that, bro. And I respect you, and I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
But you know something, 12. Right now, we're not getting any points because we're losing games, yeah? We've been knocked out cups. We've been knocked out, we've been losing games last minute. If we win a game 3-0 and just, and we just tuck long balls up there and people like Isak just runs in from it or Mo Salah runs in from it or Wirtz, puts a lovely ball onto Ekatike's chest and then he just runs up on the field like he did, when Robertson, put that ball into Ekatike and he just ran and scored a goal against Eintracht, yeah? Who cares? We won. It's as simple as that. 3 points, what it does, it builds momentum. And then when you play in the league like that, that's going to happen. But when you go and play in Europe, yeah, you've got the equipment to play that tiki-taka football or play that, that lovely thing. But right now, we need to win. And the way we win is playing whatever necessary way is to get 3 points. You do it.
Yeah, generally title-winning teams are built on their defence. Like you have to have a rock-solid defence. There may have been 1 or 2 exceptions over the years. Or you look at Paris Saint-Germain last season, like what they were like. They did have a good defence, but like they were more than that, weren't they? And I wonder, is that what Arnie's got in mind, to be a bit more like that, a bit more fluid and fluent, like in positions like interchanging and stuff. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, we do have to tighten up. Like, I'm sick of seeing us giving up chances so easy. It's one of the most dispiriting things possible to see your side give up chance after chance after chance. And sometimes the opposition don't even have to do that much. I mean, look at Caicedo's goal for Chelsea to put them 1-0 up. Great goal, fantastic strike. Should never have been allowed that amount of space to take his time. I mean, if somebody would have closed him down, he wouldn't have had the frigging shot. But nobody closed him down. So, he was able to go on and get his sight. Bang. We're 1-0 down. This is where I'm worried. The midfield, which they're getting walked through. Opposition teams are walking through our midfield, sadly. I think McAllister's absence is part of that, because he was a big passer. He was a huge passer last season. Ibu and Virgil were a huge partnership, but so were Ryan and Mac in that pivot. And I think that's part of it. But also, like we said, we've got quite a few new players. A lot of new players bedding in. And it's not always instant, as I said earlier. You can't just take it for granted the players will hit the ground running.
My LC Retro is saying 12 for me is just start getting the basics right. I'm appalled at the way we get we give ball away on throw-ins or lose out on a second ball.
Exactly.
Brian says Arne is obsessed with two teams, Forest and PSG. Morgul Blade says, if a long ball goes to feet, is it a long ball or just an excellent pass? I don't have an issue with long balls. I
like it.
The long, I have no issue with the long ball.
As long as you mix it. If you mix it, every now and then Van Dijk will spray one out to Salah on the opposite side. Yeah, every now and then, if you mix and match it, it's brilliant.
I like one of my favorite goals scored by us was the long ball that Ali gave to Salah against Manchester United.
Oh yeah, that was class.
That's classy. That's that kind of stuff I'm cool with. But I'm not trying to be like a get off my yard, that kind of thing or something like that, like the old guys on the porch type thing. But I am saying though that I just think I think the league has transitioned to, when I'm saying long balls too, I'm thinking of like long throw-ins more so. I'm not saying this is the long balls. I'm talking about the long throw-ins. I think that it is really suspect. I talked about how the league says that if you're going to use towels, for instance, again, so it's like, oh, what are you talking about towels for? Why are you so like, all about these towels? I'm like, that's because if you're going to give a team an advantage, then that advantage should be open or open to both teams. We saw that. Why I bring that up is because both Chelsea used towels against us. You didn't see us being able to, like, there wasn't a ball boy throwing towels to our team, but they were certainly throwing them to their team, because they're trying to help them and not help us, And then there's also in the game against Brentford, the guy was using a towel in that game. Again, a game where they had usage of towels to dry off the ball so they can get an actual more longer distance throwing. It's an advantage that shouldn't be present.
And they get penalties if they're free kicks as well. Yeah. The other teams, like in that game, Gakpo for me could have been a penalty. It was in the box.
Oh, absolutely.
Their guy was going towards the halfway line and he got a penalty. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and this is not something old. Like Rory Delap, who used to play at Southampton, used to have an amazing throw.
I know. Yeah, Rory Delap would be one of the top transfers if he was playing today because
James
of the state of the league.
With his free kicks. It's.
What I'm trying to say, he would be one of the top. He would be one of the highest priced transfers in the league simply because of his excellence at long throw-ins.
Yeah,
there would be some teams.
It's been there over the years.
Yeah,
it's been there over the years. So what I mean. It's like it's all part of it. There are teams like who come up in the league, like a Reading or something like that, who would come in who don't have a lot of money. They just got to use what their strengths are. They play to their strengths, and if that's a long ball and it's a throw and stuff like that, good on them. But it's up to us as an elite club, right, to be able to say, okay, that's your tactic, yeah? Right, this is what we'll do instead. Or let's win this game with our way. But we can't seem to do the basics correctly. And I also think about the press. The press is, if you press players and you harass them, yeah, like we used to do, yeah, it puts them under pressure. They can't do anything. They're not even going to be able to get into your half, all right, to even get a throw in. That is hurting you. And that's our problem. It's been our problem since this particular manager's come in, yeah. We are very, very slow. This team is not built to play this slow it down sort of thing. We have players that are pacey. And we can't do that. So we are suffering, and he needs to look at it.
Just speed it up a bit. A couple of gears, play third gear, fourth gear, man. These guys are designed to play that sort of pace of football. I just don't understand the philosophy. I think Slot, he likes his control. And he thinks if he's playing first, second gear from the start of the game, he's in control of the game. Why? Because Kanate and Van Dijk are passing it to each other like madmen every 2 seconds. Kanate, Van Dijk, Kanate, back to the goalie. Mahmoud really had the ball more than Wirtz and Salah in the last game. There you go. Because he thinks he's controlling the game that way. But for me, it's too slow. And what happens is the opposition think, oh, okay, we can get in here. And we've seen it. We've got pickpocketed a few times in the last games. and we always give presents as goals.
If
We always make a mistake and give a goal. So
if we're struggling on some of these basics, so some of the stuff you're talking about is basics. You know, a lot of the stuff is very basic, and it's crazy because like I heard our coach say something like he made a little slot. You know, a lot of Arsenal content creators or fans didn't like his comment about Arsenal and their set pieces because he says 9 out of 10 times they do the same thing. What's scary about it is if 9 out of 10 times do the same thing, why are you not able to stop it?
You know what I mean, bro?
You know what he's gonna. If 9 out of 10 times you know what they're gonna do, then figure out a way to prevent that happening. You could argue that we did, considering that we were able to hold them to no conversions on their set pieces at Anfield, and obviously we scored on ours, but off a phenomenal free kick though. But you know, if we're soft on long balls, if we lose first contacts off throw-ins, we panic maybe in transition waves, we concede first a lot. That needs to stop. I think we have we've now done. I think it might be a record of how many times we've conceded first in games. I think it's like 7 games in a row that we've conceded first in. We've obviously lost. We've lost a handful of games in the league. Obviously, we've lost the League Cup now. We've lost in we've lost as well in Champions League. That's not a blip. That's structural. So it's normal for people to start talking about, oh, slot out, slot in. I understand those parts and points. You know, like I can understand people saying those things. I can understand it because, you know, the football isn't producing the type of football that they want to see. They're not, and the end results aren't the ones that we all want to see. And the question could be, is the message falling flat? I don't want to think that Slot's lost the dressing room, but I also saw Hylor speak on this earlier, and he spoke on that Slot isn't a manager; he's a coach. Okay, well, if it's the tactics that's going awry, then that's something, and those are the reasons. And they're not transitioning to the players being able to, carry out those tactics. Then,
he's neither 12th. He's neither. I'll tell you why he's neither, because a coach will be coaching them to defend better. A manager, what he's doing is managing. He is managing, actually. He's managing to screw up these players and make them losers. We have a winning mentality in this squad. But you know something? As you're taking players that have come from different leagues, all right, and brought them in, people like Wirtz, he's a championship, winner. He won the league. Yeah. Same thing with Frimpong. They've come into a winning mentality team, yeah, only for them to start losing. And this guy is not a coach. He's not a coach. He's not coaching them. He's tactically, he doesn't have any tactics. And in terms of managing, these players, are these actually his players, or are they, Edwards people? He's neither.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Well, if he isn't a manager and he's just a coach, then that would suggest that it would be more Edwards people, or you know what I mean by Edwards, Hughes' people, really.
Yeah.
It would be more his. It'd be more on his regard of what he's bringing. He's bringing all the ingredients to the actual kitchen. Now, Slot's got to figure out how to make a recipe out of it. But confused is fixable. Disinterested is not. We cannot see this team lose the interest in really committing and giving their all. I don't want to see Konate give up on plays. I don't want to see McAllister look somewhat confused on the sidelines. I don't want to see Salah, disheartened, disinterested in essence, struggling to figure out if he has where is his place in this team. I don't want to see Wirtz have a situation where he's playing on the left side one day, he's playing on the right side the next day, he's playing in the middle the other day, he's on the bench the next day. Like, you can't have that. That doesn't bring cohesion, in my opinion.
You need to get rid of this manager then, based on what you're saying right now. Yeah, this manager is the cause of all this problem, and it's just as simple as that. Salah was great last year. Yeah, He's now brought in other players. If he's bringing in players to think, okay, right, Salah's been our main guy over the years, yeah. Now he's getting on a bit. He's got 1 year at the end of this. We might even sell him. Whatever their plans are with Salah, yeah. They've brought in Florian Wirtz as another person that could potentially do that. And then you've got people like, Isak and Ekatike that will get through his decisive passes and score goals. We might be playing a different way. But if he is not doing anything in the team, why keep him? I'm not interested in 90-minute penalties or little stats thing. It's not about the stats anymore. It's about when the chips are down, you need to perform. There are no free passengers in this. And the problem is this manager's insisting on this. Then he's brought in Wirtz where he's not sure whether to play him. He don't play against Man United. He plays against Arsenal. Then he's dropped at a certain time, plays him on the left and plays him centrally. What do you want to do? And this is all down to the manager. The manager needs to go. If he cannot get this balance correct, yeah, and he's had 10 games plus pre-season, all right, Isak weren't there, yeah, fine. Isak will just leave for now, yeah. He's had the opportunity. And then you go and bench a player who's on form from a player that, hasn't played yet in Ekatike. What are you doing?
Yeah, I have to agree what Ian, Paul, and Norm have all said about getting back to basics in terms of defending. It's something we must do. We must defend better. I mean, Slot obviously knows that. He's far from stupid, isn't he? And he is the coach, so he'll know that we've got to defend better. But as a team, it's not about, this player isn't doing it. As a team, we've got to defend a lot better. We've got to give up less chances. So if we do score a couple of goals, they'll win us the game, rather than drawing the game.
So what's happened this season then, Lee? Because last year we didn't we defended a lot better. Why is it under his management, that we're struggling so bad to defend goals now? Last year we didn't have a problem with that. We've got a big problem this year. Why is that?
I could make the argument that a good number of those games that we did go behind in were from, again, long throw-ins or set pieces or the likes. We have had some cases where some breakdowns on the coverage.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, but it's alarmingly bad this year. Why is that?
I think it's his tendency to still press for a result. And even though we are down, we're still going to play a high line. And teams, I've been seeing tactical style pieces talking about how teams are taking advantage of that high line, especially with the uncertainty that we have in our back line with the coverage that we have. So
how about the midfielders? Because you know what? Last year, someone like Gravenberch didn't have license. Suddenly he has license to go up, and this is our anchor.
Yeah.
This is down to tactics and the manager giving certain players, certain things. Last year, it wasn't broken. What are you trying to fix this year? One player in terms of creation, all right, who was a great player for us, yeah, in terms of Trent, yeah. He went. So you have to bring creativity in this, yeah? But you got to also keep the core, which was pressing. The Diaz's of this world, the Núñez's of this world. Yes, I know we've all had opinions about these guys, yeah? But if you put them all together as one, yeah, that, they'll be one of the best players around. But the thing is, all right, these guys pressed. These guys had they had a lot of pace. We got no pace no more. We're now just playing a normal little whatever, no press, no creation, no creativity, and we've become what we've become. And these players are going to lose confidence, 12th. They're going to lose confidence, and there's going to be a team that doesn't know how to win anymore. And that is the biggest problem. Over the years as Liverpool fans, we were never consistent. We'd have 1 or 2 times where we'd win trophies, or we'd never been consistent over 38 games. We have had that. Now, could this be, and I dare say this, I don't want to say it yet, but could this be a problem? If they don't sack this guy and he perform and we finish out, and I'll say 4th next year, and the following year we digress, we go 5th and stuff like that, yeah? What's going to happen then? Because these players now are not about winners no more. They're 1-0.
There's people that have already said there's our fan base. Some of them, some in the chat, especially I've seen already said that he already should be fired. There are people that are still giving him time or want to give him time because he's got credit in the bank or because they still want to see. They just believe that he can get himself out of this. He just maybe deserves the right to do so. I've also seen like AGT. He does Cop TV. I like his broadcast. He's a Scouser. He was talking about how Villa is possibly his line in the sand. And then there's others that are saying even like that these 3 games are if not all 3 of these games are going to be the final nails in the coffin. So
I wanted him till January. I gave him an opportunity till January. But yesterday was his nail in his coffin, his biggest nail in the coffin, because what he did there was undermine a trophy. As a Liverpool manager, you're not supposed to be saying that kind of shit. You're supposed to be saying we're in every competition to win it, not stupidness about, oh, we'll play kids in this. What he's done, disrespected that competition, which we are record holders for, yeah. And you know what? He just didn't even have the thoughts of even having, the fact that he always moans about PSG and Nottingham Forest from last year. Okay, he was obsessed with them, yeah. Can't even beat Crystal Palace. Palace, yeah, have beaten us twice this season, yeah, and it's the 3rd one. We got them again at some point, yeah, and hopefully we beat them. But his obsession should have been on this game, and to make his team better for the cup competition and the league, because we're playing Villa and they ain't not a bad team. So he is not managing this correctly. So he definitely needs to go. January was his opportunity, but it's far more than a centre back issue now. It's a flipping whole team issue now. It'd be great to have a centre back, maybe a DM or something like that, yeah, to help relieve the pressure. If you're going to insist on playing Gravenberch a little bit more forward, you lose your anchor. But you know what? If we don't get a DM, no problem. We get it maybe next summer. A defender, we definitely need. But right now, what we need is a steady ship. Stop conceding goals. Go back to basics. Stay with those basics, yeah, and move on. Because that's what won us the league last year.
Yeah, no doubt. Back to basics is something that people have been certainly crying out for. I've been saying again, like I said, man. Wow, yeah, back to basics. Yeah, it's a cry out for that. Like I said, I'm just thinking about the piece or the segment they were talking about with Salah and Jota and such, because back to basics was like something I connect with my dad. So like it's his license. He bought a Mustang. And it was like a big thing because he bought a Mustang and his license plate was back to basics was the suggestion I gave him, and he took it with it, and that was like his little license plate. Just to remind you. But again, it's like little things like that sometimes kind of like throw you off your focus. But again, I agree with you. We definitely need to see something happen.
You're a DJ. You're a DJ, aren't you, by trade?
I guess you could call it that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know something. Your equipment, yeah, is what makes you money. Is what makes you this. Yeah. Now, if your equipment is good, yeah, you ain't gonna buy something else unless it's better and it's good and you know how to use it. Yeah. That's exactly the problem that we have here. He's basically got the equipment. He won the trophy last year. Yeah. And he got beaten by probably the best team that deserved to win the Champions League at the time, yeah? And you know something? What he's done has bought these new shiny toys, ain't read instructions, press something, and it's all deleted, and now you can't find it again. It wasn't even backed up on iCloud.
It's amazing how many people I've seen being really, really, navigating towards, if not, leaning, if not fully in on Slot out lately. That is something.
Not leaning to slot out.
I mean, leaning or have been fully committed towards the slot out campaign.
Everyone's hurt right now, bro. You know,
Yeah,
if we lose to Villa, is it going to be the most record defeat, like, in terms of how many we've lost in a row in all of our existence?
I think it matters. How about this? Then I'll ask you this, and you tell me in the chat too. If we lose to Villa, I know people will. I know some of you are already slot out. Some of you might have Villa as the game, as I spoke on earlier about Cop TV. That like that's the game that is their watershed, right? If that's the case, and we come up against Villa, but we fight, it's a battle. Maybe it's like a 3-2 game, or maybe it's like a it's something that you see us like have opportunities that we just don't capitalize on the opportunities, maybe, or something along those lines. But we fight. You see effort. You see a real change. Maybe we get hosed on a call or something. I don't know. That's always a possibility with the referees in the Premier League. Are you still going to be slot out, or are you going to give him another? Are you going to maybe extend that window for him to go one more round?
He should have gone Brentford.
Baz, gotcha. All right, Baz is a steady no. All right, Rasta Crab. Nah, you rest all them players. I need a performance. Forget all that 2-0. Okay, Lee. How about for you?
3-0.
And he doesn't want Klopp back, by the way. I got you, Crab. I got you.
Sorry, mate. I was just making a cup of tea. What was the question?
I was just asking, if you see a real performance this weekend out of us, but yet we come up short, will that have any impact in your slot in or slot out?
Of course, an improved performance would be a step in the right direction.
I know you're not slot out.
I don't know how well I'd handle a defeat. If you're saying come up short, maybe come up short of a victory, but I couldn't suffer another defeat, I don't think, right now. But as I say, an improved performance, that's a step in the right direction. Well, it's 2 steps in the right direction. Maybe
a Villa 3-2 win or something, or a Villa 2-1 win against us.
In a really good performance where we're unlucky to lose. Maybe.
Yeah, we get a dodgy penalty called on us or something stupid.
Yeah, I could probably deal with that if it's sort of like taken away from us by sheer bad luck rather than playing shit. Then that is a step in the right direction, isn't it? I think everyone would agree. Of course, we want the.
Well, not everyone agrees. Baz is.
Yeah,
Baz
of course.
We had that against Frankfurt. What happened afterwards?
I know, mate. I know. I'm talking about a league.
No, I know what you're saying.
At the very least, against Premier League opposition, an improved performance is. You're halfway there, then, aren't you? Like I say, though, it will be really tough to deal with if we lose out. But an improved performance. Well, it's better than what we got last time out, isn't it? Because we got a shit performance and a shit result. So a good performance and a shit result would be an improvement on a shit performance and a shit result.
How about for you?
Because you've got to take baby steps, haven't you? When you're playing this badly and you're going through a trying time.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask JK, how about for you? We have a good performance. It's maybe something dodgy that ends up being why we end up losing the result. Let's say also the gaffer comes out and he tries something. He goes back to 4-4-2, or he tries something completely different. He goes to something that we've all been asking for, and we see improved performances defensively, offensively. We see some real rhythm. We see some real opportunities. Just we come up short. Is that still enough of a bridge for him to get another day, or are you let's just cut the cord now and move forward?
Look, bro, it's nowadays if you support a manager who's not doing great, they sort of point their finger at you that you're a joker or whatever, you know. And I was like, come on, man. If you don't support the manager, what chance have you got to win at any game? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the people who make that decision, if he's going to be the manager tomorrow, are clued up. They're not going to think, yeah, you know what, this can carry on. It's not going great and stuff. But for me, we need 3 points. Let's forget how we play right now. For me, it's all about getting points on the board and winning games and to change the energy in the club. You know what? There was a video today where Liverpool made a video about Klopp's best comebacks and the energy in the video, the game. Oh, my days, bro. I was like, wow, where is that energy in the club? Robertson, Van Dijk, Salah, all of them. So for me, it's the energy change. All you got to do is change the gears in how you start a game, Arnie. If you allow the opposition to take advantage of anything we do, because we always make mistakes and they take advantage. Cut out the mistakes, play faster. Simple.
Yeah. It's just funny. I did say. I know. I did see the people in the chat saying, "You don't go back with your ex." So if my ex is a baddie and she's someone, and we parted on good terms, hey, I'm an adult. We can talk.
12. Do me a favor, yeah. Can someone actually explain to me, yeah, what is slot ball? I need to, I want to understand what slot ball means. What is slot ball?
Just a term they've made up, bro.
Exactly. It's not an identity.
It's not.
Last year, we weren't that great, but we won the league. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand the word slot ball. Slot ball is just something that's just been made up, yeah? But no one was happy last year how we played, but we won the league. You know what? If we play poorly, again, I said this earlier on, if we play poorly, yeah, but we win the league, you're going to have people who are going to say, you know what? We played rubbish last year. But you know what? They're still going to be celebrating when we lift up when we win leagues or titles or whatever, yeah? Right now, Slot does not have an identity. He's brought in a new team. You either back him or you sack him, yeah? But right now, the way we're playing, yeah, is relegation form. And I know that sounds deep, yeah, 10 games in. But let's be real. If we keep him, yeah, and the 15th and the, I don't know, say 18th game of the season, yeah, and we're still not winning, where does that put us? What position will it be putting us? 2-1 wins, loses, 88th minute goals, 97th minute penalties. It brings us to the bottom. Are people going to keep him and back him then? Because this is relegation form. Because I just want to remind you, when was the last time we won a game again? I can't even remember.
A clean sheet, 1-0 against Burnley, wasn't it?
Right. Okay. How long ago was that?
I can't even remember, bro. That's the thing.
Exactly, bro.
You know what I mean? I can't remember, bro.
That's what I'm saying. It's relegation form, bruvs. This year we're supposed to win this league at ease. At ease, bruvs. That's a mad one.
No, what makes me laugh is Lord Rodney Trotter making fun of Liverpool, but what Tottenham won? Oh yeah, corner. Okay.
Look, when it comes to slot ball, the presence of what because I remember I did a piece on slot ball and what he was going to bring to the team before he actually took over the reins. From all the research and everything that I came across, because I admit I was not really cognitive of what Arne Slot did at Feyenoord, but I did know enough about the fact of the difference between one of the major differences with Slot was the fact that he was able to keep his players a little bit more present, available, simply because of the structure that he utilized in his process. His process is somewhat similar to Jurgen, but there are drastic differences between the two.
That's
like
rubbish.
As in, he's more controlled. He emphasizes patience, for instance. He's all about structured build-up, but even possession-based approach, basically. But he's like, but they're not different. But the things that are the same between them is that they both believe in a high press. Now, I think
but that's not possible because they never did that last year and they never done that this year. They're not. They're nothing of the same. Do you know?
They're totally different managers for me.
No, I get that. You know the slot ball, was.
I'm just telling you what you asked.
I know, bro. I'm not firing on you, per se, I'm just angry because the comparisons, That's what he's probably said, and probably you might have seen that in certain games, but it's never been like that. Slot was 100 miles per hour, obviously, like pressing from the top. We don't do that. We didn't do that last year. Haven't done that this year. And he was all Slot I've seen with Slot is slow the pace, pass the ball around, find the right pass, score the goal. He ain't been doing that. And he ain't been doing that this season. The only thing that he's done 100% to a T, was slow the fuck down of the team. And that is not the way this club plays or these players are built to play.
I agree with that. And I've been both Lee and JK can back me up on this. I've stressed about the fact that our intensity has been compromised with this team. I think that because the intensity has been compromised, it has taken away the ability. It has taken away certain aspects of our press, of our identity that we've already established before this. And it's the reasons why I do say that those are basics. Those are basic characteristics of a team that we all know and love, but yet it doesn't go hand in hand with what Slot wants, which is patience. He wants risk management. We just talked about heavy metal. He's about counter pressing and about really pushing the envelope. He wants risk management. He wants a strong rest defense in the sense that he wants less chaos. He wants positional play. He wants to progress the ball from defense to attack, as opposed to really just having defense to attack, meaning like from the back to the front, as opposed to Jurgen wanted the counter press to be the attack, to be our defense. So that you never got to that back line. You didn't have to worry about that high line. You're pressed on that front line. There's a
but then the chaos that you're saying that he doesn't want, and I'm not firing you. I'm just saying in general, Then the players that he's brought in, are definitely not his players then, because he wants this what you just said.
I think they are.
Well,
I think they are.
It's the complete opposite.
Look, I would counter in this, and I'll let you finish. I would counter in just saying that I think that they are. I think the reason, you could say what it is. It might have been Edwards not wanting to pay Diaz the money, but as in he made it, maybe Slot made a choice that he had to be obviously comfortable enough to say that he doesn't mind having Cody instead of Diaz as a left. But I think that Diaz brings more of that intensity, more of that energy, more than Cody does. Not saying that Cody's bad, but I'm just trying to say that it's a different in the amount of intensity. You look at the front line. Okay, well, you bring in Ekitike and you bring in these gunners that everybody wanted as our strikers. Fantastic. Then you get rid of Núñez. And Jota, rest in peace, is no longer with us. So then that intensity that you had as your tip of the spear is gone as well. And that was essential. Bobby was when we had Bobby, even when it was our best of days, that was the essential portion of that front line. And then if you're going to tell Salah that, hey, you don't have to play defense, you don't have to counter press with the intensity that you saw a Mane or you saw a Diaz or you saw a Núñez do or you saw a Jota do, you don't have to do any of those things, then you basically just told me that the front line has no aspects of what the former front lines have had. And that's why, if anything, there's going to be a difference.
He's brought in these players, but these are chaotic players. He doesn't play chaotic ways. The only one that makes sense, is Wirtz, because Wirtz is a person that is like a Coutinho, isn't it? But he also is someone that can just spray a pass or find a good incisive pass. He doesn't use him.
I don't think that. See, I think where I'm losing, where I disagree is that the chaos came from Elliott. The chaos came from those two Núñez, Diaz that I spoke on. The chaos came from those players that we no longer have part of our team. But the replacements for those players are players that are more controlled and more measured. Cody Hakpo's a more measured and controlled player. Isak, Ekitike, certainly more measured. They can press, of course, but they don't bring the same intensity as you do from a Núñez. Let's not get twisted.
All right, if we flip that, then all right, these players are the opposite. That's fine. Okay. So what's going on then? Why are they not gelling? Why is he unable to pick a team then? Because surely if it was his players, he'll have a clear, decisive idea of what he wants to do. And in 10 games, Premier League wise or whatever, cup games, whatever, why are we struggling this bad? No, it's not a fire on you, bro. Yeah, it's not a fire on you. It's just that, you know what I mean?
Lee, JK, weigh in here.
He just doesn't.
I'm not even trying to answer for all of Slot's sins or.
No. I know, bro. But you know what I mean. We're obviously talking about him, innit? So the thing is, he's brought these players in, He can't decide what right back he wants. He's got Bradley. He's got Frimpong. He don't even know. Salah, who's not done nothing yet this season so far, whether it's him telling him not to do anything or it's him telling him to do something, is just not vibing. Left back, he's insisting on playing a player who does not play in that way, to invert. He's not like that. Robertson was so brilliant, was so brilliant with Van Dijk a few games ago, showed a little bit more balance. It looked a little bit better. Then he benches him in the next game, Wirtz plays on the left. He doesn't know what he's doing with him. Ekitike has been our best player so far this season, in terms of like new signings, benches him, He don't know what he's doing.
It's true.
He has these players, week in, week out,
training. Like, what did they actually talk about, bro? This is I was thinking the other day, like Klopp, if he's seen one of the players sort of down in the dumps, he'll go over, give him a cup of tea, give him a hook, like, put arm around him, what's up, man? I can't see Slot doing that.
And AR is spot on there. Wingers are not giving the nines a service.
Of course not.
They're not. Even the midfielder.
We have never done that.
Yeah, but this is the problem. You've bought players you bought an Ekitike and you bought an Isak who needs service, because Isak is not going to come in and look for the ball. He's telling me, you know what, I've got pace, I've got trick, I've got speed, put me in. He's not doing it. He's not.
Kanai did it that ball like for him, so like that's his sort of game, that sort of ball. I wish he scored that goal, but that's the sort of football Isaac wants, like that type of ball and stuff. But how many games have we seen where the midfield have gave Wirtz the ball to do that type of pass in little slots? We ain't seen it yet, bro. Look how many games we've had. Like, there's no format of how to play, and that's what's annoying me.
I think Isak needs to work on his fitness too, though. But I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, but for me, Isak's got a sort of, I wouldn't say free ticket, but that signing from Newcastle, the noise that came with it was such an energy taker from him. He looked frail when he came in, bro. I was like, give this guy some food. You know what I mean? After that transfer went through. Thank God Ekitike sort of kept up. But the players are all there, man. What makes me laugh is this. When the season started and we got all them signings in and Isaac got through, Wirtz, Frimpong, everyone was like, yo, we're winning the league again. All of a sudden, all these players are rubbish, and the manager too, and they can all fuck off. What is going on?
Bro, that's what you're saying.
I don't understand. You're trying to tell me Wirtz ain't good.
I mean, that's the attitude.
Wirtz and Isaac ain't good enough for Liverpool. What a
struggling a bit from being the favourites and the champions, because when last season kicked off, we certainly weren't the favourites or the champions. Now we are, and teams they have worked us out. So Arnie's got to work out how they worked us out and get round that.
You know how, bro? Look at Caicedo. What did Caicedo do in that game against us? He beat us on his own. Why? He had that spirit in him to beat us. None of our players have got that this season, sorry. It's about simple as that.
We are in transition, aren't we? to a large extent, Trent was a big part of our creative play, and now he's not there. And we were never going to be able to replace Trent like for like, because there aren't many Trents, if any other Trents. So we've got completely different type of fullbacks now.
Yeah, but we've got creativity.
A bit different when we're attacking. So you've got to give a little bit of leeway, I think, to the man.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
I don't think it's that difficult of a thing. Look, we against Manchester City, we saw last year at least, we saw this coach transition the team to utilize 2 10s in that game, basically, and and we end up winning that game 2-0 at the Etihad. And we absolutely ran. No more. And we absolutely, what's that?
He doesn't have these players no more.
Well, just hear me out though. I'm going to say the reason why I'm bringing that up is because we absolutely ran them off the park, and I understand we don't have some of those components in the lineup. Okay, but I think the only difference is because Curtis and Dom started that game. I don't know if Diaz was a part. Diaz might have been on the left side of that game or not, but that was the big difference, was having Curtis and Dom basically be this like 2 10s that shadow each other and cover and do all this work and control and utilize the pressure. We had a great game, and then we went back to the 4-2-3-1 against Leverkusen. We had issues with some of the production we were getting out of our striker, whether it was Jota or even Núñez. Our coach changed it up and introduced Diaz as our number 9, or as our false 9. Everyone was scratching their heads and saying this is stupid. And, oh, what's he doing? And da-da-da-da-da. And it worked. And he reverted to it every once in a while. It kind of became a little bit more of the central way that we did business, which was having Diaz in the 9. But every once in a while, we would go with other variations of the form. I asked that. I know the chat can probably spit it out before I say it. My favorite question is, do you want a coach that has a team that can adjust for its opposition, or do you want a team that teams have to adjust to us? As in, we just have a set 11, we come out with a set form, a set identity, we play the same way, and that's just it. And we just go forward. And teams have to try to stop us, as opposed to us going into a matchup and saying, we're going to play a 4-2-2 in this one, or we're going to play a 4-4-2 in that one, or we're going to play a 4-2-3-1 in this one, we're going to play a 4-3-3 against this one, because that's the opposition in front of us. Mm-hmm. I think that's where we have to kind of like figure out as to which identity we want to be. Because with Jurgen Klopp, you could very much, even though there were variations of forms of the formation during the game that adjusted depending on what we could take advantage of or manipulate. But for the most part, we had an identity. 4-3-3 was our identity. I know that you talk about McAllister was more of an 8 in the perception that I had in that build up, and we would have Endo in as our DM, and then you'd have McAllister and Gravenberg, or you have McAllister and Dom, or Dom and Grav. You'd have something on those lines.
So how are Man City able to win all these like leagues back to back? Because every year teams would try to adapt towards them in different ways.
There's about 115, if not 130 different things I could bring up, but
nicely done.
All right, okay. I hear that. I hear that. Okay, but you know something. All right, on the pitch, off the pitch is their problem, yeah. But on the pitch, tell me on the pitch, yeah. How many teams were able to stop them winning the league back to back on the pitch?
Just one time. It's a mentality thing for me.
Right.
They can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's a mentality, it's a mentality thing, yeah?
Exactly.
This manager does not have the mentality. It's as simple as that.
He portrays himself as a strong mental type of guy. When you listen to him,
Núñez did that, bro. And what did he do for, Graham Souness had a strong mentality on the pitch and off the pitch and managed us and did exactly what this guy's doing. He destroyed that team beforehand, by selling the players on. And you know what he did? He brought in thugs, Julian Dix, Ruddock, and all these people, Scales.
Yeah.
And you know what? What happened? That was the starting of the 90s, and we only recently got our mojo back.
Yeah. I think Julian Dix, Dix is the perfect name for him. If only he was called Bollocks. That's
even better.
A better name for him. Oh, he was so shit. And we got rid of Steve Staunton for him.
David Burrows. We swapped him with David Burrows, who had like a 130 mile per hour shot on him.
Yeah.
We swapped David Burrows for Julian Dix. We bought
Dix, and all because he had the reputation as a bit of a hard man or whatever, and Souness like that. Paul Stewart was the worst signing he made. Sadly, Paul Stewart suffered something in his private life, when he was a kid or something, but from that horrible footy coach. But anyway, apart from that, Paul Stewart was a terrible signing to replace Steve McMahon.
Right, but these players for their respective clubs were good, because Ruddock was a good guy, was a good defender, for Tottenham. All right, Julian Dix was a legend for West Ham. Paul Stewart was a great engine from Tottenham and Man City. These were all good players, but he brought in his own identity, and it failed us. And these players are they his identity, and are they going to fail us? Do you see what I mean?
What amazed me was that he brought in Dean Saunders for one season only, and he had a really good season, top scorer, scored of goals, gone. And that's what amazed me, that he looked at the team and went, I need a different striker to partner Rushy. That wasn't the problem. The problem was the defence. Lodinson had to pack in through injury. Hansen then retired, and we were all at sea at centre-back. We were bloody awful at centre-back in that era.
Scales, Ruddock and Babs. Rob Jones, McAteer.
Well, that came after with Evans, didn't it? In Souness's defence, he bought Mark Wright, who was a very good defender in a back four, but he got injured straight away. Won the FA Cup, and then he got injured, and we never saw him.
And he brought in Robbie Fowler as well, promote from within. Whoa. So I mean, there was some good vibes there. But but the thing is, all right, ultimately, the point I'm kind of come across, all right, is this manager, okay, he wanted to do too much too soon, and this is the team. The team reminds me so much similarities of what happened then. Do you see what I mean? It's like literally, he ripped up a team that was good, and brought in his own ideas, and then we were just nothing. And then this guy, he wasn't doing it intentionally. He was a Liverpool legend, Graham Souness, but obviously this guy, he's a legend in his own hands in the sense that he's won us the league, But some would argue, was it Klopp's team? Was it this? Was it that? Everyone's got their opinions, and we respect all of that. But going forward, this season, he's brought in 5 players. One really wanted to leave. The others were initially forced out. You know what I mean? Like Diaz, if he got his contract, he would have stayed. Only Trent wanted to leave. Núñez would have stayed. Harvey Elliott would have stayed. These are the players that wanted to stay. But he said, no. Brought in his own players, all right, get it, balance the book and whatnot, but you know something, what he's created is a problem for himself.
No, you're not wrong there,
but I think he'll get away with it. Mate. You know why? Because the caliber of players, because like the one Souness brought in, Julian Dix and that, bro, come on.
No, I know that
we might get away with it because of the caliber of player we brought in.
But you're right.
What we're gonna win, though, you know what I mean?
You know what though, JK. I respect that. But in their generation, right? These guys were great in their own ways. Like Dix was a legend for West Ham, and he was a good left back. He was rubbish, at Liverpool, absolute trash. Same thing. Ruddock was a good, solid centre back. At Tottenham, he brought him in. And, he wasn't that great. Yes, he scored maybe some goals for us and he, gave us that tough presence thing, But that was that era. This era, we've got these players and these players are great as well. They're not in the same caliber for real. But But the problem that we have here, yeah, is he's done too much too soon, and it wasn't broken last year. This is what I was saying before. It wasn't broken last year. He should have just maybe added. We lost Trent. Get a solid right back. That's your problem solved there, yeah. Or promote Bradley within or whatever. Okay, Salah's getting on a little bit. What do? Go buy maybe a right wing or something like that or whatever. We lost Jota, God rest his soul, yeah. Bring in an Ekatike or an Isak or something like that, yeah. Keep Núñez or whatever, because they can offer us different things, This is a battering ram. Maybe he's useless at goal, but you know what? Bring in someone, Diaz used to get us out of trouble, used to use his body, get us up to the field, you know what I mean? And it was a pressing.
Keep hold of the ball.
Yeah,
well, he'd stretch teams as well with his pace, wouldn't he?
Elliot will come off the bench.
A bit more pace about him. He wasn't lightning quick, but he was fast, wasn't he?
Elliot will come off
the bench. Everything you're saying is hitting the nail on the head pretty much.
So this is what I'm saying.
Therein lies the problem. That we know what's wrong with the team. It's just putting it into practice. It's for it's for Arne to put it into practice now.
But the thing is, even Graham Souness, when he brought all these players in, he had a way of playing, and you could see it. Was it good? No, but there was an identity. What is this guy's identity? I've been saying it all stream. What is this guy's identity? No one can tell me. And you know what? Because no one knows. It's as simple as that.
I honestly think I think his identity is trying to be past them, as Hyler put up earlier, past them to kill them softly or something like that. But it'd be like
Premier League doesn't happen like that.
Kill them softly with passes is what his mind.
And he needs to be sacked because that way Premiership is the fastest pace thing in the world.
I'm not in any disagreement with you.
No, I know that,
but I'm also under we're coming from an era where we've been told that there's been people that have been edging towards trying to get that Lucho wasn't good enough, and all of a sudden they recognize we have a lot of Joni Mitchell fans amongst us, and what I mean by Joni Mitchell fans is that they don't know what they've got till it's gone, right? Like as in, and it's like one of those cases where it's like you can hate or say whatever you want to say about Diaz, but now all of a sudden you recognize what he brings to the table. You can hate and recognize whatever it was about Núñez, but now you see and understand what he brings to the table.
But that's based on other people saying that, and some people have said I used to give Diaz.
That was a lie. That was a very loud consortium that wanted Diaz out because he doesn't have enough end product. I used to go head to head with the guys on Kopish a lot about that, and because everyone knows I love Lucho, what he brings. I see what he brings to. I watch him play for Colombia, but also that's international. I know someone's going to say, I'm sure people like us, a different game. I get it, but all the same, I also watch what he brings to our team too, which is intensity, energy, and commitment, and all those things are very similar. And I've always said this. When it comes to our team, so often what we do is we'll get into this mindset of, for instance, left wing. Left wing has been definitely defined by you can go further back, I'm sure. I know people are. Of course, there's other references that you can utilize for left wings for us. But in the Premier League era, at least, more so than not, Mane is the picture of what we have as being the king of our left wing. Then when Mane left and Diaz came, he's not Mane, so he's rubbish. He can't do this that Mane could do, so he must be rubbish. And it was like, no, Diaz brings other things to the table that Mane that Mane might have had, but not necessarily to the extent that Diaz has in his locker. So he's contributing.
I've always said that. I've always said that.
And then my final point would have been that if you look at it now, it's the same thing going on with Cody. I've now heard so much anti-Cody Gakpo talk that is ridiculous, because now all of a sudden Cody's the scapegoat because he's not Diaz. And it's like, dribble inside, shoot, dribble inside, shoot, dribble inside, shoot. He doesn't have another game. He doesn't go to the byline. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Yet we've seen him do that lately in a couple of different games. He's been productive with it. He has just continued to push that portion of his game. However, he's been a consistent source for our goals when it comes to League Cup. We no longer need that anymore, really. But League Cup, he's been a consistent source. He was one of the major reasons why we got to League Cup final last year and the year before that. It's one of those things that it's just interesting that it always consistently changes. And now there's not going to be many people that are going to say, oh, well, I'd rather have Núñez maybe than Isak. I get that because Isak has the final product. However, Isak's not going to produce the kind of chaos and the commitment to all the different things that we're missing that are key components of our identity.
That's what's lost him the league. That's what won him the league, 12. That's what won him the league last year. So why has he got rid of these players?
Because those players don't fit what his plans are.
But he won the league.
I know, but that's why I'm trying to get across. Look, I know that some of us on the panel aren't necessarily big fans or think that, not big fans, but that we all love Elliot, but I'm sure that some of us have maybe different ideas as to whether Elliot should be a part of this team or not be a part of this team. But I think Elliot was our instant adrenaline shot. When he was for Jurgen Klopp, he was the most busiest player on the pitch as soon as he got on there. And you could tell he was like straight adrenaline. Red Bull, it went from if we're lulling at a 6 or a 7 and we need something, all of a sudden there's Elliot running around like he
was an excellent late sub because he had something a little bit different. But yes, we moved on and we've got to deal with that. We've got different players. You can't stand still in football. That's one thing. You can't stand still in football. If we'd have tried to stand still from where we were last season and try and retain the league with exactly the same squad, more or less, give or take, maybe one player to replace Trent, then it wouldn't have turned out well.
So we moved on. So we've moved on with these players. We've got these players, all right? It's take it or lump it, like it or lump it, yeah? So what are we doing now? How are we going to make this team better? That's what the question that, how are we going to play football? This is all the things that this manager's getting paid to do, all right? And at this moment in time, he's got no answer to any of this. And you know what's the most important thing in football is winning stuff. He had his first opportunity with his new team last night. And how well did that go for him?
Sorry. You know what I'm saying? I did not say we suck because we lost all these players.
Yeah,
what I'm trying to get across, let me just answer Crap's statement real quick. Then I'll let you jump in, Lee. I'm not saying that he's saying 12th, you're pretty much saying we suck because we got rid of certain players. No, what I'm saying is that we went about taking away certain components from our team that had all of that tried and tested measurement of knowing how to get over the line, knowing what it takes to get through adversity like we're going through right now, knowing what it takes to be what is the real Liverpool identity, knowing all these different things that we've built up this foundation to be, those players that are a part of that portion. Okay, I'm just saying that they are no longer with the team. Or not every one of them, because we still have Robbo, we still have Virgil van Dijk, we still have Salah, we still have components that we still have Ali. There's still components that really make up the core of our team. But what I am saying is that there are certain parts that we would have relied on. I think, for instance, this year, finally Slot's getting it. That I don't know. I think he's using him out of desperation more so than his own perception of wanting to. But I mean, finally, this coach is using Chiesa. Most of us have been calling for Chiesa to be playing since last year. Okay, but yet now you don't have a busy bee. You don't have someone that's going to come on and bring instant intensity and have skills to go out there and do what we need to do, like an Elliot could have done for us before. Now he has to rely on Chiesa because you don't have an Elliot. So some parts have been replaced possibly, but and I get teams move on, but I'm not saying that you can't acknowledge the fact that moving on doesn't necessarily mean that there hasn't been a void or some type of gap that needs to be filled. And those players now, you're relying on these players now to make that necessary jump. That's the difference.
Yeah,
I look at it the same way. James Milner talked about us losing that first Champions League, and what it like how Klopp spoke to the players and how the loss really hit home and it tore away the soul and things, and like how the realization that there is no guarantee that you're going to get to this level next year or even the year after that or whatever, and yet like that experience was a real projection in their ability to know what to do when that opportunity came again. Those things are very important. And that's why people are making the comments about, well, I've seen people talk about Kirkez is young, and Kirkez, our own coach said, there's some players on our team that are from different leagues, or there's some players on our team that are from teams that don't play, that haven't been playing in the Champions League or haven't been playing in every 3 games. That's not me making an excuse. That's our coach saying that excuse. But yet me saying are me not saying teams move on.
The coach is the problem. The coach is a problem. Look, tell me something, Kyle. What's your views on Chiesa this season? Does he deserve to be in his team? Does he deserve over certain players to get to start at least a game or so?
I think that I don't have a problem. Oh yeah, okay, Lee. You can ask Lee. I'll give my answer.
Just say good evening to Rasterkrab.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think Arnie knows what's wrong. He knows where we're going wrong, but he's having trouble enacting the changes to correct this. Because he's been coming out and saying, we're not doing this properly, we're not doing that properly, and then the next game it doesn't change. So I can see where people's frustrations are.
Then he needs to go then. Because if he can't do anything about it, it's all good having having someone that's nice and listen. But if you can't do what's needed for the club, which is to win trophies, you can't keep him. Identifying a problem is one thing, doing something about it is another. And he ain't doing any. Is he doing anything about it? He's not really, is he? Well, he's trying, but he's not good enough.
I would go as far as to say this. I would like to see Chiesa get more opportunities, more minutes. I am not against that. However, what I would say is that teams need players. Sometimes teams don't need 25 or 20, let's say, because I know 25 is a roster, but 20 that show up for game day, okay? Don't need 20 all-stars. They don't need 20 world-class, Galacticos. We don't need 20 world-class stars to be on the roster. But one thing that I do know teams need, or at least my belief is what I like to see a team have, is role players, squad players, players that know their roles. Like I said earlier, that's what a role player is. Like players that are good for what they can bring you. Whether it's being a lockdown defensive player that's going to be able to be implemented late into a game and see a game out for you, fine. If it means it's going to be a player, it's going to be a super sub that can bring you instant energy or create something, make the level of your team go up, fine. If it means being a backup keeper that doesn't get much, doesn't play other than domestic cups, but when needed can fill in and hold it down like a number one keeper, fine. If it means having those kind of components, that's the essential fundamental blocks, I think, that make a great team. It's not
we ain't got a great team.
11 great players. I just want players that know their role and their place and what they can do when they get on the pitch, or know what they are intended to do when they get on the pitch. And I think that a lot of those players that we spoke on, or at least that people have moved on and everything else and yada, yada, those players were a lot of those important components that I'm trying to reference.
Chiesa,
that's what I'm saying.
right? So Chiesa is doing a lot more than what Salah's been doing this season.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
No, I know, bro.
And oh man, Crab's really going at me today. But nobody wants to sit on the bench. You're absolutely right. Nobody wants to sit on the bench. But yet, the same way Elliot held the notion of saying, yes, I want to start, but I also know whatever role I have to play, I will do it. I'm not going to rock the boat and demand that I got to play, or I'm going to be a distraction in the locker room. You've got to be serious, man. You've got to be. I know that not everyone has been in a locker room or even connected with players that are in locker rooms, but you have to recognize that is a key component. You got to have people that don't make the locker room uncomfortable.
But that's what he's just done.
And everyone wants to start.
But 12,
everyone has to know where they fall in that.
High-profile players that are going to do that now. Isak, look what he did to get a move to Liverpool. He's got very strong opinion. All right. Yeah. It's the same thing with Ekatike. Ekatike, he's been playing really well. All right. Obviously, Isak was bought, That goal celebration that got him sent off was because he was trying to remind somebody that I'm still here. He got sent off for that. He's got not an attitude, but he's obviously got, he's got fire in him. Wirtz is going to be the same thing. He's bought players that is going to do that if they don't get games. And that is his fault for buying these players and not being able to do anything with it.
Right.
Because these players,
there are players that are team players that know that, I know that they want to start. Yeah, exactly. They want to start, but they don't know necessarily that, but they take it as it's a given that they have to start. I don't think Salah should be a given that Salah starts every game. Absolutely agree with everyone and anyone that says that point. I don't think that Salah has played to the level to warrant that he should start in a lot of these games lately. However, in his mind, he wants to start. I'm sure it's obvious that if he doesn't start, he's going to have an attitude. And then when that attitude approaches, that becomes a problem in the locker room because now it's uncomfortable to talk to the player. Now it's uncomfortable to have that energy in the locker room. And now you've not only got to work on getting tactics down in the pitch, now you got to work drama out in the locker room. There is a serious case of what you don't want to deal with, and that is exactly that. You talked about him being a coach. He's not a management manager. Fine, because he's not going to deal with those things. But if you don't properly, balance out starting time, getting everyone minutes, doing everything else that needs to be done, then guess what? You're going to have egos in the locker room that create problems and can really disrupt balance and harmony. And that's what I'm trying to get across is that there's players. Trust me, I love Bobby Firmino, like one of my favorite players of all time. And I saw Bobby take a subdued role, albeit when people say, because his injuries and the likes, but I also saw him take a subdued role while I saw Henderson apparently demanding in the locker room that he needed to play and he had to play because he's the captain. And thus, the very next year, we don't have Henderson a part of the team anymore. That's what I'm trying to get across. If you're not going to recognize that harmony, confidence, and all these different intangibles that are involved in locker rooms, and I'm saying it to Lee, I'm saying to JK, and I know especially Bass too, who's played at high levels, that's important. And if you're not going to acknowledge that, then we are definitely not going to be able to come to a common ground.
Then you know what? It's just then we got based on that, all right. This manager's created this, all right. We're gonna have problems. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have problems. It's as simple as that. If it's based on what you're saying, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's the craziest thing. You're not wrong about it. I want to debate you and go back and forth with you, and you're not wrong. But what I'm saying, I'm just strictly looking at results, players, and their attitudes. Yeah, he's the one that brought these players in. We got a problem this season. Last year, we had no problem. We had a Chiesa who was But we
had a team. Wait, real quick. We had a team, again, I know people don't want to go back to Klopp, but let's just be honest. We had a team that believed in family, believed in all about being a unit, believed all about being about teamwork and the whole nine and everything else. That was a created entity. That was a created identity for this team.
Yeah, that's right.
And then that's why I'm saying you take out all these new pieces and then you bring in new family members, they're going to have to learn how to become family or figure out
and the
how
manager
to be a part of the
is
system.
hanging them. Yeah, and the manager's hanging them up to dry. That's what I'm saying. The manager's the one that's got the problem in all of this. Look at this boy that look at Kirkes. Kirkes is the one that's getting hanged every time. Wirtz is doing his thing. Yes, he's not strong enough at the moment. All right, he's still trying to find his feet, but he's created a lot of opportunities. Probably one of the best ones out there, in truth. Ekatike has been doing well. Yeah, individually they're doing their thing, but he cannot put these guys together. And that is the problem. Football is based on a team thing. These guys are doing individuals, becoming Galacticos, for God's sake. Becoming a Galactico team, but without no one actually performing. And that is the problem. That is the biggest problem. This team has always been based on emotions and obviously a family thing. And we love our club for it. But when you bring in these players, you can't let them hang out to dry. That's what he did yesterday as well with all these youngsters. He didn't balance them correctly with the right, good players around them to give them a chance to win yesterday. And when he, Crystal Palace were going to do that to us. And then at the end, come like towards the ending, he's just bringing on players just for the sake of it. And then one of them got flipping sent off. He brought a defender on when we're 2-0 down, trying to get at least a goal at Anfield, all right, to kind of like give us a kind of hope, He brings on a player that last time he came on as a sub, got a flipping red card. And he did the same thing again. He's destroyed that player within seconds of him coming on. He's done that. Rio was a brilliant player. He played well yesterday, in my opinion. Took him off and brought Kone on. He was probably the only one that had any kind of presence. Chiesa wasn't even a striker yesterday. He was playing forward, and he had one opportunity, and I can't remember the others, but he wanted to get involved in the game, trying to get his match fitness. But he ain't starting against Villa. And then it's just literally, I was happy to see, Gomez get a game. I was happy at the goalkeeper as well, like I said. But the problem is he's just literally hanging players up to dry them. And it's not good. He didn't look at Klopp. And I'm not saying, I know, Crab, you got your opinions on Klopp.
I know.
I respect that, bro.
But
the thing is,
I'm trying to
he
figure out.
brought in Fabinho slowly. Robertson, when he first came in, he didn't start all the games first. He transitioned these players and they became good from it. This manager has put them all together, say, crack on.
Burn them into the fire. Exactly what I'm trying to get across. You got to show
exactly.
You got to if you're going to show patience, fantastic. But then you're going to have there's going to be learning. There's going to be like that learning curve, or you're going to have issues or problems that you're going to have to take. But if you're not, and you do what a lot of us were suggesting, the reason why, because I know that Crab's not really about Robbo any longer. At least he used to be his guy, no longer though. But like when it comes to our team, that's why I've been saying Robbo might not be the athleticism, the legs, the energy, everything else that Kirkes has. However, Kirkes has to figure out how to get the composure, the connection, the symmetry that Robbo already does have. And maybe by learning the same way Simicast did, then maybe eventually he can be integrated into that left back role and eventually take it over.
Right, exactly. You're right.
We've already lost. He's not done that. We've already lost. Trent, who was a huge. Anyone that doesn't recognize the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold was not only a huge portion of our offense and of our team, then they're really doing a disservice to this discourse. Because realistically, Trent created so much offense for us, and he is unlike any right back to ever take on the role of playing the position. And when it comes to him now, he's no longer part of the team. Fine, we've moved on. But that also means, I also remember when people are like, oh, we need to move on or get rid of him. Connor Bradley's better than him anyway. Well, Connor Bradley's has the role now. Connor Bradley's got to do a better job of keeping himself fit and being available. And now Frimpong's got to do the exact same.
Frimpong, the reason why he's getting injured consistently, You know the hamstring injury, yeah, and that's based on my playing time, yeah. These players, I mean, these injuries are based on not enough game, lack of exercise. Now they do their training, obviously, they do their exercise and whatnot, yeah. But match fitness, match fitness. These players pick up these kind of injuries because if you look at Frimpong, for example, yeah, he's a player that's very explosive. He's very, he uses his pace as his main asset, yeah, and he's not playing enough games, so it's natural for him to pull a hamstring. It's just as simple as that because he uses it. Look at Owen. Owen back in the day always had hamstring injuries because he uses his pace. That's the most. Yeah.
Frimpong played Frimpong played a lot of games. Let's not get it twisted.
Oh, has he?
For Leverkusen, they won
for Liverpool. For Liverpool.
I'm just trying to say for Leverkusen, he played a lot of games.
That's why he didn't get injured as much because his body's used to playing 90 minutes.
Okay, I get where you're going with this. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get that too. Like, as in, I'm all about like if you're going to get a player, like as in, if you want a player to play at the level, it's like I've been wanting Gomez to play for Ibu. Now he gets the one opportunity, and obviously the giveaway that happened, that's unfortunate. But you're gonna have people being like, "Oh, he's not good enough," or "Oh, he does this," or "Oh, he's not that." That's because he's not getting the usual run of games. You expect a player to have the Premier League pace and energy and speed up to par, but yet if you don't play them, then how are they going to ever have it?
They were brought out on the cold yesterday. Yesterday, right, these players barely played any games with each other. The last time Rio played for Liverpool, he's been on the bench for quite often, but he's not been used. Yeah. He could have got an injury yesterday. But
it's dangerous. Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous. But this is what I'm saying. This is where this guy needs to get this balance, man. If he doesn't get this balance correctly, and this is now officially his team, yeah,
it is.
It's based on that, and I think. Either you back the guy, and we accept that this is a transitional season, based on how we're going
to. I do back Slot. I back.
Yeah, well, if you back Slot, that's fine. You know what I mean? No one's going to knock you for it, yeah. Well, at least I hope not.
No, trust me. I'm going to get clipped up for saying that. So
yeah, but sorry, but the thing is, I just think. You back him. If you back him, then you know what? You just got to accept this season we ain't winning nothing. He's going to make the team, and let's see next year if he's now been able to blood his players in, and create a thing, and maybe next year we go. This year already is a write-off. But for me personally, Baz is saying that this is not good enough, based on what he's seeing, and he needs to go because tactically I don't think he's right. And I think.
Finish.
Yeah, and I think what he said yesterday put him in the grave for me, bruvs, for what he said. That is not a way a Liverpool manager needs to conduct himself. That is absolutely wrong.
Yeah. I'll let Lee and JK guess. You guys can weigh in at any time. I know I'm not trying to hog the mic, but I understand exactly what you mean by Baz, and and let me just state that I say I am backing Slot because I back Liverpool. So whoever is our manager, that's the player, that's the guy I'm going to back. Now, am I saying that he's my first choice possibly at this moment? No, I'm openly going to say that there is another coach out there that I would prefer to have in this role at the moment. But he is our coach.
Who would that be? 12. I know you're not throwing Klopp. I mean, let's say tomorrow now you hear Liverpool have sacked Slot for whatever reason. Yeah, who would that be?
As long as he doesn't bring Pep Linders with them, I would say Klopp.
Okay, fair enough.
Because Pep Linders is
no, he's delusional. He ruined Klopp's stuff.
He's burned that bridge. Pep Linders is dead to me when it comes to that aspect of it. He is not the one I'm trying to have ever again represent Liverpool. But I think the reason why I feel that way, I know people out there have differences. I know some people don't want to go back to the X. They don't want to go back to Klopp. But I just think that Klopp left for one reason. That was to kind of get his to breathe again. I mean, he's 56 years old. He's not like we're not talking about Rory Hodgson come or something like that. Like you're not talking about some like 80-some-year-old man or something like that to come back and coach the team. He's 56. That's still relatively young when it comes to coaching. But like I would also say the reason why I would like to see Klopp is because I've always wanted to see Klopp with these kinds of weapons at the helm, and two, I would certainly like to see a man. I think the one key element of what is missing in this it's not really tactics with me anymore with this coach, because I don't know. He tries 9,000 different types of tactics. I just think it's identity, and I think it's about a coach that you want to play for, that you want to go, that you would run through a wall for. And I think that a coach that can give you a hug, and that hug can make you aspire to be better, to be greater. And there's so many of these players that didn't necessarily say the reason why I came to Liverpool is because of the way they play. A lot of these, your Dominic Szoboszlais, your McAllisters, they said the reason why they came here was because of Klopp. And that's the big difference. It's because of Klopp and what he built. And now I think, truthfully, none of these players really came here because of Slot. I think they came here because of Liverpool. It's just unfortunate that Liverpool is not the identity that it normally is or has been in the past. And now that identity is being pressured and pushed.
This guy sold them a dream. Sold them a dream. That's the problem. Liverpool, everyone wants to play for Liverpool because we're successful. And we got a history and stuff like that, yeah. But these guys have been sold a dream by this manager, and they've come here and they're having a nightmare, man.
Yeah, Lee, weigh in on this stuff, bro. You're the man. You're the man on the scene. You're the man on the grounds. You got the pulse of the city.
Sorry, what are you asking me? I was just typing.
You making peanut butter sandwiches or something? Is that what you're doing?
I was typing something. Sorry. Go on.
Oh man, see, that's what happens sometimes. You talk so much, we end up. The panel gets lost in their own little.
Yeah, I had to quickly text me mum, but go on. What was?
I'm just trying to get. I know that you're behind Arne still. Or you're giving him the benefit of the doubt to figure it out. And briefly. I just think, and I can't say this enough. I never have been, and I never will be. I might have said that I would like to see Klopp in this role, but I also know that the only way that's going to happen is if Slot performs poorly, as in if he loses games, as he get knocked out of tournaments and the likes. Am I willing to see that happen just to get Klopp back at the helm? No. That's what I mean by the reason why I'm backing Slot is because I want him to get this right. I will surely not be all butthurt that Klopp's not the manager of this team, despite that being my football romantic vision.
Yeah.
I would so give that up if it means that we go on a run in the Champions League, or if we start to chip away points from Arsenal in the Premier League, or we get an FA Cup, this year.
I'd like to think. I'd like to think that because it's us, because we're Liverpool, that we'd have a little bit more respect for the manager. Bernie mentioned on Brian's stream earlier about we'd be laughing at Man United, Ruben Amorim and whoever else, if they were getting the sack so quickly. And we've got to behave a little bit better. I'm not asking people not to be critical. Of course, be critical. But I think we owe the guy a couple more games at the very least. I think, as I said before, he does know what's going wrong. It's just getting it right, doing it on the pitch. And hopefully we will do that sooner rather than later, because there isn't an awful lot of time. He is running out of time, Arnie. He's running out of time here. He's on thin ice, isn't he? So, Yeah, I'd like to think that we are a slightly fairer fan base than some others, though, because we went. I know, yeah, I
Look,
know.
you're not going to do the what was the Arsenal guys saying is he's got to go. You know that guy. Is that the
Yeah.
rest in peace too? By the way,
we're becoming like that though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
based on this because we're not used to this for a while. We've been challenging or getting near Man City, winning European Cups, winning a Premier League into
over the years. Yeah, it's become less and less. What's the word? You get less time over the years. Like, look at Alex Ferguson. It took him 7 years to win the league.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that now. You'd never get 7 years now at a club like United, even though they were doing pretty crap before he took over. That's one example of how you used to get more time. Now, unfortunately, in the modern game, there's not as much time, if any at all. Yeah, I suppose like the bar was raised for us as fans, wasn't it? Because we won the league. I'm pretty much at a canter, we only lost one game until we won the title. That was the Forest game. Obviously, we lost the PSG game on penalties, and we lost the cup final. So we could see last season there was room for improvement as a side, and we could see there was room for improvement as a squad when we were looking at it last season. And now he's trying to do that, so we can't really moan about him trying to change things, to evolve. And I just hope that what he's got in mind will eventually come to pass pretty soon, at least results-wise. And then over the long haul, over the season, we can maybe see this identity that people are crying out for. They want to see an identity from Slot's team in the way that others may have one. And I'm still prepared to give him a few games, like quite a few games. Well, the next 3 games are crucial, aren't they? They're critical. If it goes badly, he's going to find it hard to keep hold of his job, and that's not down to the fans. Obviously, that's down to just football's business, isn't it? Like they've got to cut their losses if they think things aren't going well. And that sometimes can happen after a really good season. I've seen it before, with other managers where they have a really good season, they win something big, and then the next season, the crap, and they have to go. Look at what's his name for Chelsea, Di Matteo, come in, won the bloody Champions League for them. Next season, they were pants, and he was on his bike, wasn't he? No sooner did he won that bloody Champions League, and he was on his bike at the beginning of the next season. And that's football now, isn't it? Like, for better or worse, that's the modern game. You get less time.
Yeah, I get you. It sucks. I had a whole segment ready to talk about Darwin Núñez. Not going to get a chance to do that. Maybe another time. Because he is lighting it up out there in Saudi Arabia, away from all the noise and all the headaches of the constant.
Yeah, I'm made up for him. 12th. He's a good bloke. Like, he tries his best for us. Yes, he wasn't good enough, but that weren't his fault, was it? Like, you know what I mean? He wasn't purposely trying not to score goals. He tried his best for us, and I'm glad it's going well for him. I hope it continues to go well for him. I generally want our ex-players to do well wherever they go, even if they've only played for us for a bit. As long as they've wore that red shirt, I keep an interest in how they do the rest of their career.
Yeah. Rasta crap has no love. No love. Come on, man.
God,
yeah,
if we think things about
it's an interesting take. There was an article by Alex Grimaldo, his old teammate, that actually said that he was basically saying he doesn't get the criticism. He's fast, he's powerful, he's direct, he presses. He gets judged off his price tag, like that was his fault. And unfortunately, that's just the state of the Premier League and the state of the market as well. But I mean, like, I don't know. I just think that he's dangerous. He's hardworking. He's constantly forcing defenders to react. He was never lazy. He was never hiding. He just wasn't. He loved to like press for control of the ball, always wanted to get a win, always wanted to score, always wanted to help his team, always had the back of his teammates no matter what. I think that's something that was unique and why I don't think he was a flop. I think that he was essential. And one thing you can say is you can dismiss everything you want about Darwin Núñez, but one thing he can say, he's a Premier League champion. And he had an impact and an input in making us Premier League champions. It's so funny how all of us, not all of us, but a good number of us seem to want to constantly bring down players and people like that. That's why Salah was so intimate to get to really speak up for both Diaz and both Núñez when there was a concerted effort from people, even in our own fan base, that were trying to put the player down, even when he's not playing for our team anymore. Do not recognize the fact that he was a part of that Premier League team. So if you like the fact that we have a Premier League championship or a title, if you like the fact that you're able to talk about that parade and everything else, you got to recognize that he was a part of that result. So say what you want, but I know that that's how I look at him. And you can try to compare him to Andy Carroll or whatever, but the difference is Andy Carroll does not have a Premier League title. So
yeah, the last time somebody walked into Anfield and won the title, the first attempt was Kenny Dalglish's player manager. And we've seen other managers come in and win the title on the first attempt, but it's usually like Chelsea because they've got like a mega squad. I mean, we did have a good squad like in 85, 86, but we weren't champions, playing catch up a little bit, like whatever. We never got over the loss of Souness, for a while until we got McMahon, and it was those difficult couple of seasons, 84, 85, 85, 86. Because even the 86 Cup final, McMahon wasn't in the team. Kevin McDonald was, strangely. If anyone remember Kevin McDonald, I'd say he was a basic player. But yeah, what Slot's done is fairly amazing if you want to, look at it that way. It's just, can he follow up now, or does he become the new Di Matteo and get his marching orders really quickly? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I would like to think that we're a bit different as a fan base, but I'm not sure it's altogether true. Because, I mean, we all get stressed, don't we? We all get really... we're all hurting, aren't we?
Yeah. It's not easy. Losing is not something that you ever want to get accustomed to. We're about to lose JK. I know he has to go, so I know he's been sitting there.
Peace, bros.
You want to say peace out?
Peace, bros. Everyone in the chat panel. Everyone bless up. Let's get a win tomorrow.
All right, no worries. Yeah, happy Halloween to you too.
Big up, JK.
Bless up, Baz. Best up, Lee, as well.
Cheers, mate.
Easy on.
Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, I just can't emphasize enough. I mean, we talk about the creations and everything else about Núñez or our strikers not being able to create opportunities and chances. Núñez actually was one of the top chance creators. Now, albeit he didn't convert on a good number of those chances. I understand that, but I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And if you don't have the chances to take them, then guess what? You're not scoring. So yeah, it would have helped. It would have helped if he could have made a difference like that. But look, it is what it is. He's no longer with our team, but he is and always will be a Red in my opinion, because he helped us achieve something that we all would like to see our team do, and that is lift trophies. So you can say what you like. We're going to end here. I want to give my love and my best wishes, thoughts and prayers to everyone in Jamaica. They're going through a lot right now. I know I saw the LFC supporter club down in Jamaica posted some pictures of what's going on down there that since being hit by the hurricane. We are definitely you're definitely in our thoughts and prayers, and I hope that you get the support that you need. And not just for the Reds there, for all Jamaicans down in Jamaica. We see you, we appreciate you, and we carry you with us. Because this is the line now. This is not just about tactics. We talked about a lot tonight. We went well over the time I was expecting to cover on this subject. I just wanted to talk about Champions League and maybe get people a little bit upbeat and maybe a little bit, I don't know, have a little bit of a brighter perspective on our aspects of our crisis and not think of it as just such as they're, a little Monty Python, always look on the brighter side of life type situation. So it's about message retention. Once players stop listening, it's over. So we're not at that stage just yet. So it's not over. The alarm is real. I get that. But Reds in the chat, please, definitely keep your heads up. Please continue to have honest but also respectful discourse with each other. The last thing they want us to do, or the first thing they want us to do, really, is argue, show splinters of our unity, show that we are broken, show that we are all of a sudden not the identity of what Liverpool is, which is certainly a Reds, a solidified Reds family, and I hope that continues. But we're going to do the best we can. Drop a like, please do. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you can. We had a lot of people in the chat tonight. A lot of great OGs. We had a fantastic panel. JK, who just left us, awesome. Baz, big up. Brought out of retirement right now. Big up, right? Big up. Definitely some really, we all don't agree. Notice we all don't agree on our opinions. We all had a lot of different takes on what's the problem, what's the issue, even what's the solution. But it's about communicating. So big up to Baz, big up to Lee as well, dropping a little Scouse knowledge into the bin here. Big up. All right, Lee. That was your cue, but all good. He's probably making tea or something. Okay, so I guess until tomorrow, we will do I'm gonna do a preview of the Villa game. But I'm going to definitely have some other things, some other news, some other tidbits and stuff as well. I wanted to share this before we bounce out. I wanted to share this. This is something great. Recognize this I know the Darwin Núñez. I got Darwin Núñez on my head there. For all the Dominic Szoboszlai haters out there, because I know, shout out to Savage, I'll admit that, because Savage did have a similar take as I did, which was I predicted that Dominic Szoboszlai this year would be, and if you don't believe me, you can go into my video library and look at one of the first videos, and it was on Dominic Szoboszlai. And the reason why I made the video was because of all of the things that were going on with him last year, when I was taking mad flack for saying how much of the intangibles and how important Dominic Szoboszlai is to this team. He's not the 10 you necessarily envision, but he is a 10 all the same. He is a Reds 10. And yes, I wanted to definitely say that this graphic shows that Mr. Szoboszlai, every year, he has played professional football. He has lifted up trophies. So I am saying, let's all hope that we can keep the streak alive this year, right? You can see right there, those are all the trophies he's won since 2017, 2018. He has lifted up trophies. He has lifted up trophies. So hopefully we can see the streak continue this year. I'd like to see him lift the Champions League trophy. for my own reasons. But Lee, you want to say something before we get out of here?
Yeah, just keep the faith, everybody. Trying times, very trying times for us as a fan base. But we're just going to have to, grit our teeth and bear it, aren't we? Hopefully we'll come out smiling the other side. We always do. We'll be back. We'll be back. We certainly aren't finished. That's a load of hyperbolic horseshit to say Liverpool are finished. We're not finished at all. Behave yourselves.
Behave. Definitely. Every single season of his career so far, he has had 11 different trophies by the age of 25, people. 11 different trophies by the age of 25. Thomas Szoboszlai, the heart and soul of our team. So let's keep the faith, people. Just as Lee said. Well said. I'm going to not put too much more on top of that, other than always up the Reds. You'll never walk alone, of course, but always up the Reds, my people. And we will see you tomorrow. Enjoy your rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're watching this, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys, and God bless.